Good evening, you fishing freaks. It's me, Big JP, your special referee for this week's episode of Smallmouth Crush. This week, we're going to catch up with what's going on at the Bass Lab, what went down at the New England Fishing Expo, and we've got a special guest that's going to do an unboxing for his season ahead. Welcome to Smallmouth Crush. Oh, yeah.
That was good. What's up, Brett? I give that a 10 out of 10, man. Let's roll. Good stuff, Big JP, man. That's a lot of energy. Way to go, man. Bring it to the show. Who's in the house tonight, man? Let's do a little roll call. Who was first, man? I got to give a shout out to Daniel Thomas Fishing, man. He says he's the first one in tonight. He goes, let me guest host. And then we got E-Stack. He's another early bird. Doug Stewart, man. Lee. Who else we got? Brian Wisniewski. Darius King, Kentucky Crankbait King right there, bro. He said it was tough on the pond today. Who's got a case of cabin fever? I know I do. JP and Brett, what are you doing with your big finger in that screen, man?
I'm trying to see the chat. I'm clicking on the chat to see if I can get the comments to pull up, but I can see the comments, but I can't see the screen when I do that.
I got you.
I got to tell you.
Hey, check this out. What's that say on my tag right there? What does it say?
Epic Eric, but I can't see the rest of it.
Exhibitor.
Right, there we go. Where was I?
I can't tell. It's shiny.
Richmond show?
Nope. Great American Outdoor Show. That's for a couple of years back when I was at Travis. I figured I'd reopen the booth and go back this weekend. I wasn't there. I'm just kidding. I just thought I'd wear it, man. I rock the exhibitor.
Hey, listen.
How'd you guys do, man? Tell us about the show. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say real quick before we dive into that show, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more boat shows. And this weekend, February 8th, down at Thayer's Marine, we have got the open house. Big JP is going to be in the house slinging gel coat like it's his job, baby. If you want to take a look at a new boat or check out some of these vendors that are going to be down there, it is going to be a great time. I know Richie Thayer's always got the good food down there, good laughs and hot deals. So get down to Thayer's Marine in Norwich, Connecticut this Saturday for the annual Thayer's Marine open house.
Is Travis going to be there with you?
I don't know if he's going to go down or not. I did not get confirmation. Okay. I hope to see him.
Okay, gotcha. Who else is going to be there? You're going to be there. Give me the roll call. Who else is coming that we know on this show?
I know that I'm going to be there. Gino's supposed to be going. Gino will be going if he doesn't have to work. Our mutual friend Evan is going to be down there for sure.
From Omerta.
And from Omerta, yeah, he's going to be down there.
Now, what's the show like? I've never been to this. It's at Thayer's Marine. They're in Connecticut, right? Aren't they in Connecticut?
Yeah, Norwich, Connecticut, right on the Connecticut River in Norwich, Connecticut. Normally, he has a couple of special guests coming this year. It's Dakota Abear and Hank Cherry.
Okay.
Last year was Mike Iaconelli and Rick Pierce. But then the nice thing about this year is he's bringing back the vendors, baby. So there is going to be a small number of vendors there. So it's not only all about bass boats, but there's going to be little tackle shops and trinkets for everybody so that everybody can just hang out and have a great time all day long. Oh, yeah.
Dude, how many vendors were there in past years? Is it like 10, 15, or just like a handful? And what do you think? Should I bring up some Bass Lab stuff one year and like meet the crew at Thayer's, man, and travel up north?
I think moving forward with all these shows, we need to do better coordination between Travis, yourself, and myself, because I came up with a great idea for next year for the New England Fishing Expo, where we can get a double booth and have 4 high chairs and have a weekend-long podcast. You could bring up the Bass Lab. We could set up half the booth with all your old school's baits that you could sell and everything. And then as people were coming through the show, we could have guest speakers in the booth with us, dropping dimes, doing interviews all weekend long, man. You would be a huge draw for these fishing expos, because I got to tell you, Eric, when everybody comes through the booth, they want to see me and they want to see Travis, but they always want to talk about Easy E, Epic Eric.
Come on, man. For real?
Yes.
That's cool, man. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, do you think like in the northern part of the country, like I know it's a really big jig, soft plastic kind of place, but Brett, I mean, you live up there, Champlain. I mean, if I haul a bunch of stuff up, I mean, are people going to be looking at the crankbaits going, I don't crank, dude? I mean, you tell me, JP, you guys are northern guys, right? I mean, I know how you like to fish now, but do you think the people that are coming through the show, actually will have an interest in some of the stuff that I bring
Absolutely.
up.
Other than people showing up to buy football jigs and
Yeah.
a small number of small plastics, that show is geared more towards hard baits.
Oh
100%.
wow.
You've got
Yeah.
the swim bait freaks sleeping outside in -7-degree weather Saturday night, so they could be first in line to get whatever the hell they wanted to get. They're not even going to throw. I ask them after they come through, and 90% of them say they're going to hang it on their wall.
Yeah, when I talked to Derek, I mean, because I FaceTime and I got to talk to Derek for a second. He really liked the Rise and Glide hat, man. He was like, dude, that would sell up there because a lot of those guys are camping outside for big bait. So the Rise and Glide shirts, the Rise and Glide hats, he said those would be a big hit up there, man. So he said I could throw them in his booth next year. He says he does that for homies all the time. So sounds like a good show, man. Was it crowded up there?
So Friday was a typical Friday show. You had the early rush Friday when they first opened, followed by a pretty decent sized lull. And then when everybody got out of work, it got busy again before the show closed at 7 o'clock. And then typical New England Fishing Expo style, Saturday was packed most of the day up until about 3 p.m. And then it started to peter off. And then in typical JP fashion, Sunday, I get there early and I'm out by noon, baby. I got to get home to the family. I've been gone for 3 days. It's time for me to get home.
Oh
So I
yeah,
don't
for
really know
sure.
how Brett can attest to the ass end of Sunday, but I know that for me, I was out of there at noon and it was busy at the time. I was working in the Samadas booth. Jamie's like, hey man, I know you've been telling me for months you got to leave at noon. It's getting busy. Do you really got to leave? I looked at him. I said, I'm a man of my word. And the word is I'm gone. And I grabbed the raffle bucket and out the door I went, baby.
That's funny, man. Hey, a lot of people in the comments, and Brett, if you see anything in the comments, let us know. You can stop us. But everybody, Travis is traveling tonight, so he may make an appearance. It just depends on his travel plans and when he could stop. But he let us have the con. I told him we all want to do a show. Quick update. I wasn't there at the show, but Brett, you were there as well. Brett, what were your impressions, real quick, of the New England Fishing Expo? You were there representing Beast Coast, right?
Yeah, so Beast Coast brought me down to the show. I had a couple other sponsors there, including Big JP himself. He's one of my supporters of the dream. And Bass Fish Electronics and then Miller Tech, they were actually right next to each other. And then Beast Coast, and I mainly hung out in Beast Coast, the Beast Coast booth. Really chill deal. Derek was like telling me, he's like, man, you're gonna love it down there. All we do is just hang out. And he goes, people come over to the booth and it's packed all the time and everybody's talking about bass fishing. And that was definitely the deal. It was a lot of fun. I got to meet, who was it, Carl Acorn. He's one of the guys on the channel here that's always commenting. And I thought I was gonna meet Anthony Geis, but I don't think I saw him. I was gonna get a picture with him and send it to Epic Eric, but
he's the trainer,
overall
man.
it was a lot of fun. What's that?
Yeah, Anthony Geis was there. Carl Anker was there. We had Guppy was there. E-Stack was there. A lot of the fans of the show came through. So
that's really cool, man. That's up. That's awesome, man.
Again?
No, you are. It's all right, man. Just hang out. It might catch back up. We're good.
Am I good? Or no?
Yeah, you are good now.
Yeah, you're good.
Good lag for a second. Now you're back. What did you guys see at the show? I mean, I know you guys were pretty busy there, but when I go to a show, I absolutely have to walk around, right? So talk to me, man. What did you guys see that was new, that was interesting? People in the comments, man, sound off too. If you're at the show, what caught your eye? What did you see that was new? I mean, there's some new baits coming out from Beast Coast. What did you guys see that you liked? Talk to me.
I'll go first because you want to go, JP?
No, go ahead.
No, you go because you're not lagging right now. Let's catch him while he's fresh. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't see much because I honestly didn't really look at any booths. I didn't buy anything except for pickles. So I bought 2 quarts of pickles and I didn't buy any tackle. So I've been spending way too much money on tackle lately, and there was a lot of swim baits for sale there. And
no, you're lagging again. JP, you go ahead. Pick up where Brett left off, man. So he didn't get to walk around. He
Oh
spent no
man,
money.
so I'll tell you,
Tackle.
man, I was over with my buddy Steve at the Bass Fishing Electronics booth, and he's like, "Hey, man, I want to ask you to do me a favor this year. I got these
Yeah.
new rod socks. They're neoprene rod socks with a adjustable bungee on the back end, so you can loop that on the handle of the rod, right? So your hooks aren't getting all tangled up in the Chinese mesh trap that is his nylon strapping, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
These are more like nylon mat, and Steve hooked me up with a bunch of them. They're buy four, get one free, right? Steve's a big supporter of not only smallmouth crush, but of the bass fishing industry. So if you guys are looking for new rod socks, these rod socks are legit. Get over to bassfishingelectronics.com. You know, if you're gonna buy them, there's always a note in the bottom. You can tell them that Brett and Big JP sent you over there, so Steve knows that we're out there hustling for him on the live, baby. The other thing
Do you
I saw,
have
Eric,
one
that
to
I'm gonna
show?
be
Do you have
doing,
one? Wait. Do you have one to show? Because
I
typically
do in
when
a
we
minute
talk
when I make
about
a
it.
trip up. When I make a trip
Oh,
upstairs to grab a
all
water,
right.
I'll run out to the truck and grab one. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
You
then,
don't have to do that, man. You don't have to do that. Okay, what's that? Bass
I got
Fishing
the new
Electronics?
apparel on it.
Okay, gotcha. What's on the back? There you go. BFE. Was Steve the guy where I had the fit on the electronics show where he was talking about live scope, and then Travis, you know, like he knows he's won a lot on Champlain, and he asked him, he goes, that's probably one of my best rants ever.
yeah, that
Where
was
he
a
asked
good
him, he
live
goes,
scope rant.
yeah, that was a good live scope rant. It really wasn't about live scope, because when Travis goes, hey Steve, you know, they just talking about live scope the whole time, right? Rigging up, how does boat rig, what do you got to have these days? It's all about live scope. And Travis goes, hey Steve, listen, we know some guys are going up to fish the BFL on Champlain this weekend. Tell us what they need to do to win. And he goes, it all boils down to time on the water. That was after like 4 hours of live scope, and I'm like, fuck that. I said, buy live scope, man. Are you kidding me? And then I just uncorked, man. I need to capture that moment and put it like on a little edited down video, because I'd like to have that as a highlight on my Instagram homepage, because I think that sums it up. Hey, did you guys watch? We'll go back to the New England Fishing Show in a second. But did you guys watch the new MLF?
I did,
you
but
tune in?
I'm getting a phone call right now, Eric. Hold on 1 second.
Who could it be?
Oh, yeah. I'm on it. Sorry. Listen, guys, we got to interrupt this little bit of a podcast right here for a moment. I totally forgot. Shame on me. Epic Eric, we need to know what is new at the Bass Lab this week, the first weekend in February.
Man, I appreciate you asking. I would have kept talking and forgot about it myself. So I was down in the lab this weekend and I got inspired because I found an extra wide gap jig head. And you guys know I tie my shaky jig worm. That's been a top seller for me. That's the purple rain right there. And I found that EWG lead head that I really love. I'm going to show it. So that's my new EWG style shaky jig worm.
Oh man,
it's a little bit of natural Tide Finesse style. That's with frog hair, a little bit of crystal flash. Maybe I can get it to glint. You can see that, just a hint of flash. I love this lead head because look at the lead versus the eye. It is weighted down here. There's most of the lead is below the bend in the hook shank. What does that mean? It keeps my eye, and it's set back as well. Keeps it out of the rocks, the line tie. I tie this finesse style, and the EWG has a nice bite gap, right? And what I mean by bite gap is where the hook point is above the head. And then finally, you won't be able to see it, but look at that, JP. That hook has a little bit of an offset. So instead of being straight in line with the eye, it's slightly offset like that. What does that mean? Better hookup percentage. So I don't have this on the website yet. These are the prototypes, but I'm going to show you one rigged up. This is on, can you identify the bait?
That's a Berkeley Pit Boss, it looks like.
You got it, man. Pit Boss. And what's that color?
A California Craw, maybe, or watermelon red flake.
It's green pumpkin red, baby. Green pumpkin red. So that 3-inch right there, it just matches, man. Fits perfectly. And then for a bigger bite, man, I go with this 7-inch worm right there, dude. That's probably one of my favorite color worms. Look at the top of that. What do you see? Green pumpkin, gold and red, but on the bottom, baby, it's red. That's a laminate. I know you've never seen a worm like that, dude. I have this. That's a 7-incher, man. And I love, personally, when I'm throwing a shaky, I love a flat bottom. Why do I like a flat bottom? It catches more water. So when I'm Nico rigging, I don't want a round worm. I want a flat bottom worm. So shaky head and Nico rigging, I want that flat bottom, flat bottom on the hook. So I'll have these out. I might just take pre-orders, man. I don't tie production. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to me on Instagram. I'm probably going to do a limited number of colors, man. You know, like that green pumpkin that you see right there. That's kind of like the skirts. Got some green pumpkin red, obviously, with some black bars on it. That's probably one of my favorite. If you tuned into the Bass After Dark, what he said was that, let's see, Brett, where's Brett? What happened to Brett?
I know anyway, he disappeared. Brett, I didn't want to interrupt you because you were on a roll. He's probably backstage.
No
if you
problem.
Let him back in.
Yeah, we will. But I don't see him backstage. He's disconnected. So he'll come back in when I see his face. Because if I had him look, there's nobody there, right? So
right.
He's having trouble. I'm trying, guys. But anyway, enough on that jig. We'll get it back together at some point. Brett will be back in a second. What else is new at the Bass Lab? I reloaded the H&T baits, the balsa baits. That's Tim Hughes and Dale Sellers in terms of the paint job. The HT1D and the HT2D in multiple colors. And then a new drop of some Zoom baits. I'm going to show these. These are early Zoom baits by Ed Chambers. If you're a collector or you're a fan of Ed Chambers and Zoom, he made about 3,000 crankbaits a year. That's a stumpy deep runner. Tough to find. These are all early model, 2005 to 2007. They're on the site. You don't have to bid against anybody. They're kind of a buy it now price. That's on my Bass Lab site. And that's in my Instagram profile. The other one is a Z flat with a coffin bill right there. And every one of those is signed by Ed Chambers on the bill. I don't know if you can see it or not, but not sure why I'm getting a call either, but let me turn that off. Crazy. Anyway, 2000
are so good they're trying to call and order them right now while you're on the live. How does that make you feel that you produce a bait so good?
I know.
You're willing to interrupt the live broadcast to try to buy them.
I think I'm getting a homie calling me, man. And of course, I just dropped my little coolest tackle box in the world, man. There you go. And they're on the site too, man. JP, you did the most amazing intro on that thing. And the true story is I used one of these in my championship with Scooter on Lake Gaston for Bojang. It was a 2-day event. We were down to the wire, 15 minutes to go. We're on a bank where I caught a 4-2 the day before on a popper, one of my favorites. It's got a spin tail and a blade on the bottom. 4.5. Guy just told me, hey, I've got a big fish that lives around my dock. And I whispered under breath, yeah, I caught him yesterday. And Scooter is flipping Senkos at this point. And he goes, hey, man, do you got anything to make this thing sink faster? I said, flip your Senko back here. JP, I reached into my pocket. I pulled it out. In the back secret compartment, I pulled out a nail weight, stuck it in a Senko. Next flip under the dock, he goes net 5 and change for the win, $14,000. That's how you be efficient. So you got to have your little micro tackle box ready to go. That's all that's at the Bass Lab, man. Thank you for listening, everybody. You know I love making stuff. I'm really stoked about these jigs. I'll probably have them in a black and blue. Maybe I might do a fire crawl with an orange head. I don't know. We'll see whatever I feel like making, but you can pre-order them for me. Just DM me and I'll figure it out. It might take me a minute to make them. So there you go, bro. That's what I got.
Nice job. Thanks for the weekly update with the Bass Lab. We're going to kick it back over now to Brett Carnwright as he breaks down the morning of Sunday after a hard night of working all day Saturday at the show vigorously and then going out with the boys. I'm assuming he went out with the boys from Beast Coast on Saturday night for dinner. We don't know what type of escapades those guys got into, but I know Brett was down there bright and early Sunday morning. Brett, walk us through the New England Fishing Expo on Sunday morning, please.
Let's do it.
So
talk to me.
We went to dinner at a place called I don't know, packed place, like right down the street. Laroni's was Italian joint. Had dinner there. It was probably the best ravioli I've ever had in my whole life. I had a cheese ravioli with some homemade meatballs, and they were like 6-ounce meatballs. There was like 2 of them on there. The guys were ranting and raving, and of course I'm with the Beast Coast guys, and they're like half Italian, I think. So they were they loved the place, and we went there. They said next year they're going to go back all 3 nights for dinner. So anyway, great meal. And then we honestly called it quits pretty early. I think I went to bed by 10 o'clock. So,
oh, wow.
And what did Travis think of the Italian restaurant, Brett?
Believe it or not, Travis was invited to dinner, and he showed up, but he had to leave. He said he was fasting, so he didn't eat anything.
What?
And he left, and we never saw him again the rest of the night. And he appeared in the booth Sunday morning around 10 o'clock and said that he had just you could count on this many digits, maybe how many hours of sleep he might have had. So somewhere
he's famous for that.
Yeah. And then he sat in his chair and hung out the rest of the day. I don't know how he does it, but he does. And then, so I got up and we had a good breakfast around 7:30. It was Jay Lestage, I think his last name is. He hangs out with Derek from Beast Coast and then helps out with the show. He's kind of, one of the guys Derek works with designing baits, and it's one of his best friends. So they kind of shoot ideas back and forth with each other. And then, so you could kind of say he's like a part of the pro staff. And then, so it was me, Derek, and Jay. We had a nice breakfast at the hotel. Headed over to the show around 8:30. I talked with a couple of guys before the show started, and the crowd came in at 10 o'clock, and it was pretty much lights out in the booth until about 1 o'clock, and then it started to slow down. So it was pretty busy again Sunday until midday, and then I ended up leaving around 3:40 or something like that, or 4 o'clock. I got out of there. I had a 5-hour drive home. So,
which is an interesting conversation to say the least, because Brett halfway home decided that he was going to add a cock to his truck.
Yeah.
So he had to stop at a friend of mine's house, throw a big black cock into a cardboard box, Eric, and drive it back up to his farm. Brett, why don't you tell us what happened when you got that cock home?
Roll that tape back. What did you just say? Can you? I wish we could share the video. Well, I mean, Brett, kind of hold your phone up. Maybe.
We don't have the ability to do it.
No. Can you? Let me see. I could probably present. If you send it to me, no, I won't be able to do it.
Are you on
won't
your
be
phone?
able to do it. Yeah, won't be able to do it. You got to show your phone.
To your camera?
Yeah, that's what I do all the time.
You could do that, but I'll set the stage. So,
well, send me the video first so I can go right into the video.
Send it to you last night?
Well, maybe you did. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, you did. What am I saying? Yeah, I got it.
We're gonna try to make this as quick as we can. So I have I have some chickens. They came with the house.
Well, wait a minute. Why don't I just show let me show the unboxing that your girlfriend Guppy did, because honestly, this is the most unique unboxing that I've ever seen. Okay, so tell me if you guys can see this when I hold my phone up. Okay, so let me I'm gonna push play. Yeah, all right, cool. So I'm gonna push play, and you'll see what's up. All right, here we go. I got to turn the volume up though. Okay. Joe Raymond, stop texting me.
Today, I got a
Hold on, guys. Let me try over again, because I don't think I have it on speaker. Do I? Can you hear it?
We kind of hear it, but not that good.
Yeah, let me turn. All right, I'm going to turn it up. Try this again. All right, here we go. Unboxing. Did I push play? No. I didn't push play.
Put your phone more to the right. The other way.
Welcome
down
to
a little bit. Right there.
Today, I got a
Mm.
new rooster.
Let's see what kind of thing you got, Guppy. I would maybe like flip it.
Oh, you should keep playing it there.
All right. It gets a little crazier. Let me see. You could get a really good look at what's in the box, right? That was the unboxing.
Hi, little guy.
It's perched on her arm.
Hi,
right now.
buddy. You're very cute.
Yeah.
Look at him.
He's like,
He's terrified.
Oh! All right, that's enough of that. He settles down. Good job, Guppy. You put him in a mercury prop box. What's up with that?
Yeah, so that was Gino's. So JP's buddy. Well, he's my buddy too. We're all friends with him. But Gino, he has a spare rooster, and I said, "Hey, man, after the show in New England on my way home, I'll pick it up." So when we were coming home from the show, we pulled into his house down there near Albany, and Gino goes, "Oh, I'll put him inside this box," and it's a mercury prop box, and he just goes in his coop and grabs this rooster and sticks it in the box and tapes it up, and I put it in the back of my truck, and it rode home with me for about 3 hours.
Was he making any noise back there? Did he was he cockadoodle doing it all or making some noises? Like
no,
completely silent.
He made a couple little chirps when I first started driving. He made a couple little just nothing really. I'm like, I knew he was in there, but he wasn't making any noise. He didn't scratch at anything. He was just sitting there, and then he didn't make a sound until I got about 10 minutes from home. So the first 10, 15 minutes of the drive, he made a couple noises, and then I didn't hear anything out of him. And I got close to home, and I heard him make a peep again. So I said, "Well, he's still alive." And
Right.
that was us releasing him into a dog kennel. So
Yeah.
he stayed the night in the shop. He was somewhere like right over here is where that video was. And this morning we brought him out to our chicken coop and put him in there in the cage. So he's just getting acclimated right now to the hens.
Nice. Nice.
We had
I forgot to mention real quick. I'm going to give these away tonight. I said I was going to do it in my Instagram post. I'm going to send these 3 jigs out, including the trailers that they're on tonight. You guys got to go over to my Instagram, comment, tag a buddy. And if not, we'll keep anybody who commented in the chat. Fine. You're in the drawing too. And then JP, you're going to pick a number between 1 and 100, and people are going to guess on the stream. And, maybe I'll have to do 2 drawings. I'm going to pick a random person from my Instagram, so I'll do 2 drawings. So write it down right now. A number between 1 and 100. And when we're ready to do the drawing, you guys hang on. We'll do the drawing in a little bit. The winner will reveal itself. I already have. You've got the number, right, JP? You've written it down. I got
the number written down. All right, we're good.
Okay, cool beans. I mean, you could just text me the number so I know the number that you've thought of. How's that sound?
Sounds
all
good.
Right. Cool. JP's going to text me the number so I can announce the winner. All right, cool. All right, Brett.
All of a sudden, in case all of a sudden Big JP does what he normally does and just sketches out in the middle of the sentence.
No, this is going to be a short one tonight. So when's your time frame? Don't guess yet, guys. Don't get yet. Don't. All right, just let it roll. Let everybody roll. Guess the number between 1 and 100 right now. Let's do it right now. All right. I got the number. Big JP, have you seen it yet? I haven't seen it yet. All right. Let's do the number. Uh-oh. There it is.
Oh, JP Harold just got it.
JP Harold just got it. The number 22. And just so you guys know we're for real, there's the number. You see it right there. Big JP 22. 22. All right. You still got a chance to win, though, because I'm going to tie several more up tonight. I'll do 3 same color combinations because I've got my material out. For those who didn't win tonight here on the live, you can go over my Instagram, comment, and tag a buddy, and then I'll pick a random winner from those names. Sound good? And we'll ship them out. All right, cool. JP Harold, send me your address. I think I got your address because you might have ordered from me before, so we're good. Look at all the people going 22 behind him. Nice try, Jamie. That's funny. Good stuff.
Yeah, so Jamie had a pretty stacked booth. He dropped his new Swimbait, the Vixen, he had already been selling it before the show, but it was a show exclusive, the 3.5 paddle tail Swimbait. It's a compact little Swimbait, pretty sweet little deal that we had going on. I'll tell you, I did the tank on Saturday at 1 p.m. I lasted till all of 1:12 p.m. At that point, I had 0 voice. I was literally trying to talk as loud as I could with the microphone to my face, and it sounded like I was whispering, and it was really just not a lot of pleasure for myself. It wasn't fun at all, But
Right.
I will say that the fish in the tank, they were definitely hungry. They bit pretty much anything. They would have bit a bare hook if I threw it in there. But we got some real good footage of them bass swallowing that swim bait. Actually, Anthony Geese, he was their cameraman. He stayed till 1 o'clock so he could shoot some video while Jamie manned the booth and I did the tank. And Brett was like, "Man, I thought there was something wrong with that microphone until you came up after you came off the tank because I can't even hear what you're saying and you're a foot away from me."
Oh my gosh, man, that's crazy. So was it a good show for Jamie at Samadas? Jamie, pipe in, man. You're
Yeah,
in the comments, bro. He said JP lost his superpower, aka his voice. Anyway, Jamie's at Samadas, man. Tell us, was the show a success? Were people buying things from he says, hell yeah, man. So the 5 for $20 deal worked on the people were digging it, the hollow tip.
Oh, the 11 for 50, the Samadas bag special, $5 a bag, but 11 for 50. Yeah, we were slinging bags all weekend long.
Is that any bag of Samadas baits, the Samadas shot, the hollow tip, and the swim bait?
Yeah, the only bait I didn't see in the show was the EE exclusive hollow tip worm. It was the only one I didn't see.
I'm really happy about that because I sell the Jamie at Samadas baits hollow tip worm, and there's something special about that thing. If you go to my website, you'll learn all about it. I did a little video on that. Did you guys ever see the video that I did? Did you see the video I did for the Samadas hollow tip? I mean, that's worthy of playing right now, man. That's a good one. Anyway, my son made that video, so that was pretty fun, man. There's a new Ned in town. That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I'm disappointed in both of you guys. You know why? Let me tell you why I'm disappointed. If I'm at a bass show, I'm going to make it a point, no matter what, even if I didn't need to buy one more lure ever, I'm going to walk the show and I'm going to look for new stuff so I can bring that interesting content back to the show. I'll forgive you both because you were working, but still, I know you had a break.
Eric, I walked the show every day. I walked that show looking for something new, and I will tell you there was one.
But you know what you didn't see though? There was a Maryland-based company there.
I went to that booth, Eric.
It's called Fish Everything. That's my homie. I have his baits. You guys didn't tell me. Like I might have said, "Hey, pick me up that one." Did he have a show special going on?
I don't know, but listen, when I was FaceTiming with you and I lost connection to you, and then I tried calling you back.
Yeah,
I was at his booth right when you lost connection. I said, "Oh, Eric, here it is," and like it just cut out. And
right.
I was gonna say, "Is there something here that you want?" And
too bad. But anyway, my guy Keith Thomas hooked me up. I'm going to talk about another Pennsylvania-based.
You don't need any more light.
You never know. All right, so there's a guy named Keith Thomas from Black Talon Swim Baits. Black Talon Swim Baits. His name is Keith Thomas. He's been big baiting. I want you to guess the year he started throwing big baits. Guess the year.
74.
Nah, they weren't even around back then. He started throwing big. He's in the 90s for sure. He's come. I don't even know how many double-digit bass he's caught in Pennsylvania. Double digits. And I think he's caught he's come close to breaking the PA state record. But I don't think there's a guy that's A, more knowledgeable on big baits, B, more generous. He was at the Ike Foundation, and this is for anybody that lives near New Jersey that wants to go to the Ike Foundation dinner next year. He told me, I think he brought over 12 gliders. It might have been something crazy, like 24 glide baits to give for them to auction to raise money for kids to get into fishing and scholarships. How cool is that? Let me show you some of his baits. So I told him, I said, dude, my new Rise and Glide hats came out because he loves the shirt. I said, let me send you 2. And so he's down at the water when I'm talking to him on the phone a couple days ago, and he goes, hey, yeah, man, I was going through some of the old baits that I hand carved because he carves the master out of wood and then he'll do them out of composite, right? And he sent me pictures. He goes, I said, dude, those are amazing. Dude, this is what he put in the mail for me today. Can you believe this? This guy is unbelievable. Look at that bait. Now, you know I fish Bugs Island, right? And you know it's a herring fishery, right? Don't even tell me and he painted that for me in a blueback herring style. How fat is that? Look at that bone colored one. Come on. Come on.
Nice.
And then look at this gizzard imitation. I think his gizzard, let me do a full screen. There we go. Look at that gizzard imitation. Let me go back to the small one. Hold on. And then this one. Oops. I'm getting confused. There we go. Dude, look at that thing. I'm going to smash on that. How about that? Keith Thomas is the man. Anyway, so Brett, you went to that booth. What'd you see there? Did you see anything interesting?
A lot of glides, probably a lot of like 5 to like maybe an 8-inch, 5 to 7-inch glides were there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't buy any.
No, you don't need any of that stuff, man. All right, JP,
booth,
you said you found something
right,
interesting.
Yeah, the booth right next to Samatis's booth, there was a new up-and-coming company, right? And their idea was they got a spinnerbait, but instead of having a blade, they have a square bill crankbait with no hooks.
Oh, what's up with that? Why?
I don't know. And you know, when you look at it, it looks kind of funny, but you're thinking, man, I'll bet you that thing probably would get bit. But I said to the guy, I said, dude, you know, it would be nice if you had a TV behind you that actually showed what this thing looks like in the water before somebody wants to spend $10 on it. You know what I mean? Or $8, whatever he was getting. Hey,
somebody asked what the tail was made of, and Brad Petrie said it's Brett's hair, but I'm going to show you what the tail is made of. This is a black talon, but this is his son. So sorry, it's got a red eye stuck to it because one of the eyes fell off my crankbait, or I popped it off when I was putting it on. But that's his little this is his little micro chop style glide. But anyway, that's a paintbrush, bro. That's a paintbrush tail. And then you have tails that are made out of silicone. So that's for you, whoever asked the question. That's silicone, and that's paintbrush. Really important to try to keep your tail straight. With silicone, if you bend it, you could dip it in boiling water and make it straight again. You have to find a way to store these. That's a real problem for storing glides and anything that uses kind of a soft tail, right? Because they do not swim right if you don't have it. That's a little bit of a problem if you can't keep these straight. Cheap way to do it is get yourself some cardboard, you know, and use some painter's tape. Keith showed me this. So I'll cut a little piece of cardboard about the shape of the tail, and then I'll do painter's tape right here on the front onto the cardboard, and then you kind of make a little cover for it like that out of, you know, cardboard. There you go. Anyway, what else did you see, bro? Did you see any rats that you like? There's a lot of rat guys up in New England.
Oh, I sent you the I sent you the picture of the one rat that the guy did end up buying there.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest with you, Eric. I dropped the ball on getting too engaged with that stuff. It doesn't interest me, not in the lick. But his guys were walking by, and you could tell, like, there's this one swim bait maker, and he was selling all of his swim baits, his glide baits, and his rats in these like little wooden coffins that they could carry around. So I would ask everybody just to step in for a second so I could see what they got. Mainly I did that just to get them in the booth and hope that they would try to buy some of Jamie's baits, you know.
Right. Did the big bait guys care about little dinky plastics?
No, them swim bait guys, they have one thing in their mind. They know exactly what they want. They walk into the show and they're out of the show. They're not hanging out. They know exactly what booth they're going to.
That's right.
And but you know, 90% of them, when you ask them, hey, are you even going to fish with this thing? The answer is no. They're just going to either put it on the mantle or leave it in the box. And they sleep outside getting hammered all night, and they're freezing in the morning. They got icicles hanging off their face.
But listen,
it's
to be fair, there are guys that throw big baits, man. How do you like Brett? So what does that shape remind you of? Don't be rude. But a topwater, you're a topwater guy, and you're a big topwater
it's
guy.
A topwater bait.
Yeah, but do you realize how big that is?
It looks
you
like
don't understand the size. Yeah, it's not 12, but it's close. That's a big one.
Hold it vertical like this, Eric.
Like Tell that?
Me. Yeah. What does that look like?
I'm not doing that. Looks like a sturgeon, somebody said. Anyway, this is going in the game this year. I'm looking for giant bites, man. That's going on 65-pound braid. That's made out of composite. This is not plastic. That's a solid one. He's got some grippy hooks on that too. This is made by a local bait company here. I think they're in Maryland. Phony Frog. It was a special run. So Phony Frog makes a good bait too. So Anyway, it's funny, man. I talked to a buddy, Sean Hernke, and we were talking about big baits, and he and I happen to have a certain affection for a larger style crankbait, because we were talking about the hybrid hunter junior versus the big hybrid hunter grass. He's a grass fisherman like me, and the effectiveness of that bait. And then we talked about crankbaits, 1.5 versus like a BDS 4, and I can confirm he's had the same experience with larger BDS 4 style baits like that. That's painted by TK. Anyway, we can get into big crankbaits later. So cool. So anyway, so JP, you invited some people in with little bait coffins. They didn't buy any soft plastics. That's totally a different community than anything you've ever seen. The whole big bait universe is very unique, right? Now, Pins wasn't there this year, right? It was Lanicati, right? Or Lanciati. Lanicati or Lanciati? Who knows? Lanciati. And you said they sold out by like, Brett, I think you said the same thing. They'd set up their table. They bring in a new bait every day, and they'd be like sold out by 11 and close up and leave, right?
Yep.
How many did they bring in a day? Was it 100?
I don't know, but I saw Sunday morning, I paid attention, and I saw a table that was, probably 4 by 10 or 4 by 12, like folding table, completely full. So you're talking maybe 100 baits, 100, 200 baits, maybe. And they were all gone by 2 o'clock. When Travis did his seminar at 2 o'clock, they were gone. The people were gone. Like I was, so they were there for a couple hours. The first day I never saw them. Well, I was only there Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday I never saw them. They must have been sold out in the VIP part. I got there at like 10:30 or 10:45, and I walked over there. And I had to do a seminar at 2 o'clock at the tank, and their booth was right next to the tank. And I put my tackle right on their table. I was like, "Where are these guys at?" And they're like, "Oh, you don't know who they are?" I said,
"Yeah."
"Oh, I don't." They said, "Well, let me tell you what. They show up and they sell out real quick, and then they leave."
That's incredible.
More baits.
Yeah. Little Rich said they saw it in an hour. That's crazy, man. They made some. What was their average price?
Beats me.
150 to 150 to about 300.
All right, JP. What did we lose you, man? We can't see you.
No, I'm coming, man. I'm trying to do something. I'm back. Back.
You're trying to put your beard on, man. You blackened up that beard. You tightened it up.
No.
Yes, you did. You're using black beard, man. We know.
I would never
Travis
do
said
that.
He turned you on to. Yes, you will. You'll see. No. Wait till you get older, man. Anyone use the Credge? Devin Williams or Willis wants to know, do you guys use the Credge? Because you're scopers. It was built for scoping, right? Have you ever tried it?
Never.
No.
Never.
Do you know anybody that throws it?
No.
Have you? Okay, so you don't know anybody that's thrown it. You don't use it. You would just stick with regular jerkbait, right? Because you guys are jerkbait fishermen.
Megabass 110.
Got it. Megabass 110 all day long. Are you a junior guy? Are you a +1 guy? +2? Do you incorporate the junior at all?
Mm-hmm. I usually just throw the normal 110.
Yeah.
Or the +1. I think I've got some +2s, but
okay. All right. This is for all you co-anglers out there. If you're ever around, or you're a co-angler and you're looking for bites, and your guy's throwing a full-size jerkbait, man, and you got a shot around a lot of fish, if he's not chasing a single fish, here's my recommendation: throw the junior.
Yeah, the +1 junior.
I'll leave it at that. Absolutely, the +1 junior for sure. Yes. A favorite color, JP? Big JP on that +1 junior?
My favorite color is the gold with the black back. I'm a big, in the spring when I'm throwing a jerkbait, I really like gold.
So you're up there, you're north, you're fishing that bait on Champlain early season, or is this just you goofing around like at local lakes and stuff?
No, Champlain, Oneida, Saratoga, anywhere I go in the spring, pre-spawn, I'm throwing a gold jerkbait.
Yeah, right on. And why gold? Do you feel like, what's that imitating for those bass up north?
Yellow perch.
Yellow perch, 10-4. Are you ever tempted to put some black bars on it?
Sure, I'll put some black bars and an orange dot on its throat.
All right, good. Well, it should have an orange belly if it's black back gold, man, for sure. Better have an orange throat. If it doesn't, you got ripped off. I know they put
No, the KVD one doesn't come with the orange stripe.
Oh, you're throwing the KVD. I got you.
I will throw a mega bass, but if I'm just fishing for fun, I'm not throwing a mega bass.
Oh, you're not? What are you throwing?
I'm going to throw the Strike King one. Yeah, it catches fish.
Cheap.
And,
and if you get bit off by the old pickerel or northern, you're not crying in your beer.
No big deal. It's not a $24 bait, you know.
Oof, that's painful.
Oh,
Brett.
one day I was out there throwing a jerkbait around in the spring, and I lost like 5 or 6 of them. I went out after work too. It was like a 5 o'clock to like 8 p.m. It's like a 3-hour session. I snapped out 5 or 6 megabass vision.
Oh no!
And I got back.
No, what happened?
That was a $200 day because I just spent $50 in gas, and I just lost $150 worth of tackle. Like nothing. I don't know, pike, I guess. They were I was fishing these points and stuff and just broke them off. And that was a bad day. That actually just it triggered my memory. I'm triggered. But that was like years ago.
Dang, man.
That was a rough one. That was what it is.
Wow. Hey, man, is anybody in the chat, or have you guys heard about America just talked about the chatterbait patent might be close to its end of its life. You got 25 years on that, right? Right, Evan?
About time,
25 years?
It's either 20 or 25, and I think it's another year or two, if that.
Oh, man, what's going to happen there?
I like this one, too.
Elegy Bone.
Oh, yeah.
Elegy Bone, purple back with that shore minnow pattern on the side with a full-on chartreuse belly. Oh, Swim School says it's 20 years, and Jamie just said he believes it's up. Well, there's only one way to find out.
And then here's the Strike King one, but I have to paint the orange on because it doesn't come with it.
Ah, very good. That's a good-looking perch imitator, man.
So
I bet that's a translucent perch right there. That gets bit, I bet, huh?
That Strike King jerkbait, it's one of the only jerkbaits that you can jerk as hard as you want and it doesn't blow out. Like a mega bass will blow out, but that, especially the KVD deep one, the pro fishermen like on tour fish the KVD jerkbait a lot because you can fish it so hard and fast that it doesn't blow out. Like it just stays true when you're jerking it. And a lot of times if you like when you throw a mega bass and you try to like pull on it too hard, work it too fast, it'll kick up and ride up, and it's more of like I feel like it's more like a cold water jerkbait, the mega bass one, where the KVD one is like all year round, and it's decently priced. I think we talked about it last week for a tad. We talked about
the only problem is here's what one looks like new, and then one day it's gone to paint.
And so do you feel like that do you think that hurts the performance, or do you think that, Brett, improves?
I think you're going to catch more on that one.
Yeah, a lot of guys want those rashed up baits, bro. They say, like when you knock some paint off it, it starts to get a little better, right? Like I like that when that happens, bro. Bone trap, bro. Come on, man. That's tough to beat, bro. Silver hooks for silver baits.
Is it the color that's making them bite it, or is it just the noise that bait's making and the little bit of vibration and action it puts off?
I think, I don't know, man, but I mean, is anything perfect in nature? And, maybe it's less flash, less color. Talk to us, JP. You got a notion here.
100% certain the color of a jerkbait has something to do with it in the spring, because you can have a buddy in the boat with you throwing the same jerkbait in a different color, and it's 6-1.
Flat out fact. So some people say but lure color doesn't matter. All you need is a green pumpkin Senko. Shut up. Shut up. Yeah, Riley, I like that flap slap, man. I love the flap slap. That's a hell of a bait. All right, now I've lost both my guys. What happened to you, JP? Brett walked away. He's going to get something. I like it. Okay, gotcha.
Panger was sending me Matt Panger just sent me a text. I was just responding quick.
What did Matt Panger want to talk about?
He wanted to know if I was going to eat a steak on the live. He said you should be eating a steak right now.
Why doesn't Matt come on? Matt, you want to come on if you're watching? Well, I don't know if is he still watching? Text him.
I don't know.
I'll send him the link if he wants to come on. Tell me. I'll ask him. Why not? What do you got, Brett? Dig into that jerkbait box, bro.
I'm getting in my crankbait. But listen, I'm gonna talk about.
Whoa.
We're gonna talk about last week. We talked about some of the baits that Derek was coming out with Beast Coast. The guys that came to the show, you got to physically see the new Seduce minnow. We got to feel it in the booth. He didn't have any for sale, but he had the production run. Yeah. It's out in probably. He thinks he might get some of it in March, but it's probably going to be April where you're going to be able to buy. Extremely impressive bait. Like I got some of the prototypes and it's a lot better now. Like it just feels right.
Yeah, he said he softened up the plastic. That's going to be good, man. But I'm more interested in what's in your crankbait box, bro.
Yeah, well, hold on. The new apparel. We've got a couple hats. That's one I really like this.
I like the tiger one.
Hat. But navy blue with some gray. It says angler owned. He has another hat that I don't have with me. It sold out at the show. And a couple new shirts and stuff. It's supposed to be available like possibly this week. He's going to have it on his site. And of course, like all this Bass Fish Electronics apparel that I've been switching hats around. But these are all Richardson 112s. Really nice hats.
Gotta love it, man. Where's that Bass hat? Where's that Bass Lab hat, bro? Why aren't you rocking that?
I don't even have one.
What are you talking about? You want one?
I never got one. You never sent me it.
What are you trying to? You got a winter hat. Do you want the regular lid too? Come on, dog.
Yeah, I want that one that you're wearing, Tug Life.
You want the? Oh, I'm wearing the River Rat. This is the Tug Life.
I'm a River Rat. Remember?
Yeah. You want the River Rat or do you want the Tug Life or do you want both?
River Rat. I'll take both, but that River Rat one I like better.
Yeah, the River Rat's tight.
Right there, everybody. River Rat available on the Bass Lab. What up?
Let me see some crankbaits. I want to see some. What does Brett Carnwright carry around in his crankbait box? JP, what do you think's in there?
I know he's got a crankbait that I gave him last year that he cashed a check with.
And what crankbait? Do tell. Do tell. What's up, Bash? You in the house? What's up? And what did Panger say? Is he coming on, or is he?
He says he's got the flu, and he's sitting there eating tortilla soup, watching the stream, but he's really not feeling well enough to come on tonight. Maybe next time.
All right. Well, Panger, thanks for tuning in, man. It's been a minute since we've had you on. It's always an interesting conversation we get on this show. You have moderated a lot of craziness here at Smallmouth Crush, and you always bring the heat and the juice.
So
we'd love to have you back anytime. What do you got?
This one's a brand new most slept on square bill that's been produced in the last like 10 years. Is this?
Tell us why you like it.
So this one's brand new. Now let me show you the one that I've been throwing. This is the one that I have been like, look at the bill.
Yeah.
Let me show you a new bill. So new bill.
Old bill, rounded off. You've ground that bill. That's ridiculous. So you're grinding rock for sure. But tell us about the color. I'm surprised that largies or smallies.
Like largies or smallies. It is.
Largies or smallies. Largies or smallies.
Both.
Oh,
so this
very nice.
This crankbait pre-spawn cranking on Champlain. This color in this crankbait is like the deal.
But who gave you that crankbait?
This one? No, this one's.
Oh, this wasn't the JP. Oh, I thought it was the JP. Sorry.
No, I'll show you JP's here in a second. But this,
if you're allowed to,
brand new. I started throwing it when it came out. Like this one's probably 3 or 4 years old that I've been using it. But I crank it so shallow, like 3 to 4 foot, that I can get back when I get snagged, and I've been able to get it back. But this thing has caught probably 1,000 smallmouth and largemouth on it. Like I bet I have caught 1,000 bass on this crankbait.
That's awesome.
There was some time last spring where I caught 300 in like 7 days cranking, and I caught most of them on this crankbait, and that was just like a 1 week window.
What time of year is this? And question for you, somebody asked, is that the 3 or the 6?
No, this is the 6. This is the deeper
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
And so what time of year are you throwing that?
You actually can't even see it. So the new one, the logo's there, but this
Yeah.
one, it's
Chewed off.
completely gone.
I love it. What time of year?
April, ice out, like not ice out, but like a week after, when the water gets into like the low 40s. So like April 15th to May 10th is like the cranking time of year typically on Champlain. That's when they're pre-spawn. Once the water gets like in the high 50s, middle of May, they go into a weird pre-spawn funk, and then they start spawning after that. So pretty much like a 3-week, 4-week window from middle of May middle of April until middle of May. But yeah, this crankbait's got to be my
go-to.
My one. Like if I'm in my box right now, like this one's my most prized. This might be my most prized square bill.
Wow. All right, JP, can Brett talk about the crankbait you gave him, or would you rather him keep that under his hat since he
No, I don't care.
check?
He can talk about it.
I'm just checking, man, because you know how sometimes bros like to keep things quiet. Like the pros will tell you one thing and throw another. You know what I mean? We try to keep it real here on Smallmouth Crush and show what's really up.
So big JP, I went down to his house last spring. Well, it's probably about in January. Yeah, probably January last year. I went down.
Keep it rolling. Yep.
Big JP goes, "Hey, I got one bait. I gotta give this to you before you leave." And he's like, "It's my favorite trap, the rattle trap." And he goes, "I don't have any of these, but this is an XR. This is an Excalibur XR 75 one knocker."
Yep.
In the color Rayburn red.
Whoa, he gave it to you?
Yeah, old boy gave it to me.
Well, he was going to Sam Rayburn, and I'm like, man, you can't go down to Sam Rayburn without a Rayburn red XR 75, dude.
Yeah.
And what is that? The half ounce or 3/4?
It's a 3/4.
That's the 3/4.
All right. So time out. Time out. Let me give you a little story. I talked to Sean Hernke, who fished the recent Rayburn tournament, the Toyota Series, and the guy who fished the grass that wasn't scoping, that came in 7th, was throwing that bait. So he won the non-scope tournament in my mind.
These suckers, he won the tournament.
You know, he won the non-scope tournament throwing that bait. I'm just saying, in my mind, I watch a tournament 2 different ways, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's a good gift, man. You better get that back.
And I'm happy to have it. It's very valuable here. But it's I replaced the hooks on it. I put some Mustad triple grip. Probably those are probably 2/0 on it.
I would think.
Those largemouth, when I threw it on Rayburn, which they had it in their crushers when they the bite, sure. I'd be throwing this thing and it would just be a clunk, 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 like clunking back.
Yeah.
You can feel this with this 3/4 ounce trap. You can feel just like everything. It feels like
for sure,
way more than just a normal half ounce trap. Which typically I throw a half ounce trap. So I'm throwing this thing.
Oh no, that weighs more, way more. I don't know. I'd love to put a half ounce trap on the scale, and see the difference.
They would knock 3 foot of slack in this thing when they ate it.
So crazy, isn't that crazy?
It was like you were fishing a bait that those fish just. It's just something about it. It's like whenever you throw, like when you get dialed in on the exact bait, it just felt like. It's like when you throw a Beast Coast sniper on the St. Lawrence. It's just like a bait that's just
dialed in.
Yeah, like it's meant for that body of water. Like them.
So
were crushing it. Like
that's awesome.
Eat a trap as good as they were.
So JP, you spent a lot of time, as have I, with the Excalibur, and you've tried, I'm sure, the Booyah. Talk to me, and Brett, maybe you have too.
I was just looking because I've only got this many Excaliburs left, and I'm getting kind of sad.
I know,
Right
dude.
here.
I've got a pretty big box of them myself.
Man, it's the box is getting small and it's pretty depressing. I'm just kind of glad that they kind of where I was fishing and winning a bunch of tournaments with it, they really don't get on that anymore. So kind of glad that.
What do you mean they don't
By
get
the
on
time-
it anymore? What does that even mean?
Nah, it's different, man. The last few springs have not been what they were in years past as far as the trap bite goes.
Really? Why? Because the grass hadn't been there?
You know, the grass is definitely not what it used to be, but
Why?
just
What
seems
happened
that
to it, do you think?
we
You think it
haven't
got
had
burned up?
any. Well, the grass they stopped letting the farmers use fertilizer. That's the EPA stepped in and told the farmers they couldn't use all that nitrogen rich fertilizer because it was running into the lake and everything, and all the grass disappeared. But I honestly think this
Well,
year
actually, what hurts the grass more than nitrogen is really hard floods and big rains in the spring. Mud kills milfoil. I don't know where you're getting your information from. Like it's some EPA problem, but
no,
that's
Eric,
funny.
I'm trying to say that the nitrogen
Like we've
was what
had
helped the
time
grass
out.
grow.
We've
You're not
had
following
bad
me.
rains. We've had bad rains on the Potomac that have killed entire milfoil fields, like floods, mud. Because if grass doesn't get light, it doesn't grow. So spring floods, and I don't know if you've had that up there, but we've had multiple ones. And then you get raw sewage spills, and a couple of big pig farm runoffs and stuff. That'll get it too. But there were sewage spills on the Potomac and in the back of spawning bays that were just incredible, lush with milfoil, and then vacant. You'd have on the Susquehanna Flats dam releases from the Susquehanna, and you had lush green grass early spring. And JP, after the flood and the big release from the dam, it's gone, knocked back, like 80% knocked back. So it's not just what you're saying. I just want to make sure people understand there's a lot of causes of it, and that might be one, but it's
the
not the
nitrogen was
only one.
helping the grass. The farmer's fertilizer was helping the grass.
Yeah,
that water down in Ticonderoga used to be fertile green. The grass mats were so thick you could walk across them. Yeah, we've had some floods, but we haven't had no floods in years that should have came back by now.
Right, I gotcha.
The last flood we had was in 2011, really. Like that really could have done any real big damage, which it did do some big damage, but it's been it's been almost 14 years now since that. But
right.
It's happening on like the whole lake. It's the milfoil is just not. Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? We're finally got a winner. There's probably over a foot of ice down in Ty. I know there's a foot of ice on every lake around my house right now. We haven't had a foot of ice in 8 years, probably, at least down in my area. So I'm optimistic that we're going to have a really good spring, because I know when we have really hard winters, the spring bite is usually really good.
Why is that, do you think?
I think it's because everything's not exaggeratedly fast. We live in the north where they're used to having hard winters, and then you get a prolonged pre-spawn, a prolonged spawn, a prolonged post-spawn. The last few years, everything's just been bang, 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 bang so fast because we don't even get a winter. I mean, we were lucky to even get any ice last year to cover the lake, let alone be safe enough to go fishing on,
Wow, that's crazy. How about that?
What about this? Do you ever throw this one?
No, man, I throw Marty Burns balsa, bro. Don't show me no Rapala stuff.
What?
And don't show me anything with the Mike Carter bill that I got to crank rock on. That'll be gone in a day. Go ahead and crank that on rock for a week and see what you're left with.
OG tiny.
It's a good bait, but nah, I got better baits.
That's all I got in my crankbait box.
That's nice, man.
All I got is plastic stuff.
I sent you some wood baits, bro.
This is just like a small box. My wrap. Right. It's my Rapala box, actually.
Nice. I like it.
Pointed at me.
What did you crank much last year in tournaments? Or no?
I think I weighed a fish on a square bill last year.
Yeah, that's why you ain't getting none from me.
I think I weighed them in on the trap.
There you
I
go.
don't think I weighed a
JP.
little fish on a square bill.
There you go, man. There you go. If you were fishing MTFL, you would.
Yeah, I did on the Harris chain in the Toyota. I caught some big ones on a Lucky Craft 1.5.
Yay! Nice,
old
buddy.
one too.
The good ones, yeah.
Like an original.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like
that's awesome.
I have some that I bought like in when did I first go down there? 2014, probably. Yeah. And it's probably that old. Like
wow.
But I usually only throw it there.
But
yeah, a couple big ones on it.
Nice. Nice. What else you got, JP?
I don't know. I mean, one thing I saw at the show that was a little interesting was there's a new battery coming out. It's called the solid state battery.
Ooh.
So basically it has the same benefits and everything as a lithium, but it doesn't have a gas that can be released if something pops inside of it. And they're supposed to be pretty bulletproof. So definitely going to be reaching out to that guy and getting myself a little bit more information from him.
What's the name of the battery company for everybody that's curious?
Solid state. Solid state.
Damn, dude. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think it's called Solid State Marine is just the name. They're
and they build them right in either Massachusetts or Connecticut. He was a local company, so
really local USA made lithium.
Yes, sir.
It's not
lithium.
It's not.
Wait,
lithium.
it's not a lithium.
It's a solid state battery with the same benefits as a lithium battery, but they get the parts do get shipped in from overseas, but the batteries are assembled and produced and packaged in the United States.
Wow, that's new technology, bro. I've been hearing about solid state batteries. That's like next level battery stuff, right?
Yeah,
that's exciting.
It could be what it could phase out the lithiums in the market. Who knows?
But what's the weight differential?
Same. It's actually lighter than a lithium.
What? For real?
Yeah,
dude, that's crazy. Whoa, that's a game changer. All right, so from a pricing perspective, how much?
They're 15%. I don't want to overspeak because I haven't. You know what, Eric? Sure. I don't want to say it on the. I don't want to say it yet. I talk to the guy.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Talk to him.
But the nice thing is he builds them. So if you wanted to have him build you a battery, but you didn't want to change your battery trays, you can tell him what size battery trays you have in your boat, but what you want to get out of the battery, and they can build it so that it fits into the existing trays in your boat.
Dude, that's trippy. And it's going to have the same runtime as lithium, you think?
Yeah, they're like
more, they were saying.
What? Wow. That's a game changer. I just said game changer, dude. We should have him on the show. Brett, are you going to look into that? What batteries do you run right now? You've already looked at them.
Yeah, I've seen them, yeah.
And what'd you think?
I saw they were at the show, but I never went and looked at them at the show, but I've looked at them online. So they're like a group. So Eric, think about like they are a group 24 battery case, like basically like what you'd have on like a lawnmower type battery, like that size, like a group 24, a lot smaller than which other lithium batteries make a group 24. Usually they're like 80 amp hour. They're now getting into 100 amp hour group 24s. I just saw some from
moly.
Company I work with, Miller Tech, has a group 2400 amp. But anyway, the solid state brand was like 150 amp hour in a group like 24 case, which is it's packing 50% more power inside of the same, dimension, the same, 12-inch by 8-inch or whatever it is case. They're fitting 50% more power in it. I don't know if it charges faster, but I looked at them and it might be really good. They could be the deal like in 5 years from now. That might be what takes over. But there's definitely some other types of batteries that have the ability to run show in the marine industry in the future.
Right. Right. Very cool, man. That's awesome, bro. I love it. I love it. What else you guys want to talk about? We said we keep it to an hour. It's 9:09. JP, you're out at 9:30, right?
I'm good, man. I don't care how long we stay on. I'm good to go, baby. I'm having a good time tonight. I'm feeling it. I'm grooving it. I'm ready to rip here.
Wait. You're not going
to.
You're not checking out for the foot rub tonight with the wife?
I did it beforehand. Steve Estes had a brand new LVX 21 Icon fully rigged for this season at the show. I got to tell you guys, we offer a full range of Icon boats down at Thayer's Marine, along with Ranger, Triton, Bass Cat, Nitro, right? But this Icon, this is one hell of a looking boat, guys. I got to tell you, I was able to finally put my eyes on one, sit in it. Man, battleship front end. Bottom of it looks like the hull's designed a little bit differently. I like the back battery compartments. They open up like a wing. Instead of folding forward or folding back, they open up like a wing. You take the pop hydraulic off. You can take the whole the whole lid off and set it to the side so you can get in there. But I'll tell you, he had it rigged 2 inline cranking batteries, 2 inline 36-volt trolling motor batteries. And I honestly think I could have shoved Guppy in the battery compartment and shut the lids. There was still that much room left in the back of this boat, guys. This thing was freaking beautiful. What a gorgeous looking boat.
Dude, has anybody ridden an Icon? Wait. Has anybody ridden in an Icon? You're bragging on the Icon. Have you ever taken a ride in it?
I personally have not taken a ride in one yet, but I mean,
Brett,
Steve Estes had it last year.
Brett, have you taken a ride in it? Is anybody in the chat taking a ride on an Icon? And let me ask you a question, JP. Fully rigged, take me through it. Fully rigged Ranger, your boat. Fully rigged Phoenix, 21. Let's do 21 to 21. Give me the price differential of the top of the line Icon.
The top of the line Icon, of course, is going to be
I don't know
ahead of any other boat, but the one I was referring to is called the VLX. It's the Value LX21. It is a different hull than the LX21, but it is very comparable in price to a fully rigged Ranger.
Okay, and so what's their sales pitch? Comparing your boat, which is an excellent boat, right? Brett, you run a
Phoenix.
Brett, you run a Phoenix. Which one?
721.
721. Is that the top of the line Phoenix? Where does that stack in the top of the line Phoenix?
Well, the thing is with Phoenix is they build every boat the exact same. They use the same components from the 18-footer all the way up to the 21.
Okay.
There's a little bit features on like their top of the line flagship is going to be the XE boat. It's that's going to have like a fiberglass dash panel. It's going to have like
we don't care about that.
I have like rotary switches for my live well. That one has like a push button switch.
We like rotary better,
but
it doesn't fail as much.
Well, they're both the same, but where rotary we turn it to engage it, where this one like you like press it in, like it's not
I'm familiar.
I see what you're saying. It's still an analog switch. It's just push in to create the contact rather than
versus
they say it's all the same. That it's not like you're engaging a relay back there or anything to energize it.
Look at Brett getting all technical, JP. You guys are technical, dude. I love it. He's talking relay, analog, blowing my mind. So I haven't seen anybody take Boyd rides Icon nightly. Anthony said, Boy rides Wheeler's Icon nightly. John H. said he took one. We have one person riding in the Icon, and that's John H. Cool. JP, are you contemplating with the pitch on the Icon you just gave everybody switching from a Ranger to an Icon? Are you going to go with the LVH?
It'll be my next boat.
VLX.
Whoa, VLX. Sorry. And so tell me why you're switching from Ranger to Icon. Or tell the audience.
I can't tell you why at this point.
All right, this is getting very serious. I will not press the issue, but I think I know. Later to be revealed. How about that? The host of the Smallmouth Crush Show, Travis Manson, has a boat issue that burns up. He's got issues with getting a new boat. He's finally out of that boat, right? What was the prologue of that one? Do you know, JP? Did he get his insurance money?
I have no idea. I mean, he doesn't even tell me what he had for dinner, let alone what's going on with his insurance claim.
All right, so we don't know what happened there. we know that you had a problem with the hull on your Ranger because you talked about that, right? You've talked about that on the show, to be fair, right? So you're not sure if your boat's going to be there for you next season, but you've got to make a decision pretty quick, right? Because you're a guide. And so you don't know right now. If I asked you today, will you be guiding out of a Ranger or an Icon? You can't say yet, correct?
I can just guarantee you one thing. I will be guiding opening day of the season, regardless of what boat brand I'm in. All
right. Very good. Very good. And what did you look at? Can you review it for me real quick and for the people, because they had a lot of questions on the Icon. What you liked more about the Icon versus the Ranger? Just right out of the gate, just walking through the boat, opening the hatches, not having ridden in one.
I like the fact that I haven't sent any back yet.
Okay, that's a straight up answer. Brett, somebody wants to know why you went with the 7 series over a 9 series.
Well, the 721 was fit in my old garage. I could have got a 920 that would have fit in the garage, but I wanted the 721 because it's longer boat and it's a lot cheaper. So it's on average, they're about $10,000 less for this 7 series boat than a 9 series. The 9 series comes typically it's got like 2 really nice graphs. So it'll come like a package boat. It'll have like some of the upgrades already in the versus the 7 series comes kind of bare bones, and you could add those as options.
Okay.
So the 7 series, it's a boat they came out with originally. It's a little bit narrower front deck.
Okay.
And it's the first hull they ever built. So it's the original Phoenix boat was when they came out, it was a 721. That's what everybody ran. Why I chose the 721 versus a 920, other than the length and the price, was this is a faster boat and it rides better in rough water. It slices a lot better.
Wow. Very interesting.
So it slices through like a 2 to 3 foot chop better. And I think I just like it better than what the 920 was at the time. My boat might be a 921 because that's a little bit bigger of a boat than this one. But I also like it's a little slow. The 921 will be slower, but with a Phoenix, so let's say if you're going to take a 21 XE with let's say rigged identical, you're probably looking at 90,000 to probably 90,000 for a top of the line. An Icon, you're looking at 130,000.
Whoa.
And the range equivalent is probably going to be 100 to 105,000. And the VLX Icon, so the one that Steve Estes has, which is almost identical to the LX series and the VLX, there's not much of a difference. The seats are a little different, but it's basically built the same way. It's just got a few like of the creature comforts that are not in it. And that boat, I think they're starting it at 99,000. So once you add some electronics, you're talking maybe 105, 110. So similar price to the Ranger, but you are a little bit more than a Phoenix. But honestly, dude, like your payment's still going to be like, unless you're paying cash for the boat, like when you factor interest, everybody's paying 130,000. Like this thing behind me, even though it's like, this one was 70,000.
Wow.
Look at my over the life of the loan, it's probably going to be 130,000, like, or 115. I don't know, but it's
just to bounce in on that, the price of the boat really at the end of the day really doesn't have much to do with it, Eric. Here's the deal. I want a marina behind me that's going to keep me up on them Great Lakes. I want a marina behind me that when I got a problem, number one, thanks to my father, Bob Pelletier, because when I got a problem up on Lake Ontario, I know I can call that guy. He hooks his boat up, brings it up so I can finish my trip. And not only does he drop his off, he takes mine down to the best marina on the planet, Thayer's Marine, where you know what? If you work your ass off for Richie, he works his ass off for you, and he makes sure that you're back on the water as soon as possible. So if he called me tomorrow and said, JP, I want you in a Triton, you got to be in a Triton for your next one. You're not going to get your boat back in time. We have to put you in a Triton. You know what? You probably
You'd
see
run a
Big
Triton.
JP in a Triton because it's not the
Yeah.
boat brand. The name on the side of that boat means absolutely nothing to me. What means the most to me is being on the water, keeping everybody that flew in from all over the country happy, and
Yeah.
staying out there doing what I love to do. And I can
Right
do
on,
that with
bro.
Thayer's Marine behind me.
Hell yeah, dude. Bravo there.
Oh,
Richie,
yeah.
if you're listening, Richie, you better hear that square, man. JP you've been singing Thayer's praises for a long time, man. He keeps you square. Brett, who's your Marine?
I buy my boats from Wheatas Marine out in
Where are they?
Kentucky. They're
Oh boy.
south of Cincinnati, so they're Alexandria, Kentucky. That's where I bought both my Phoenixes from. When I bought my first Phoenix, there was no Phoenix dealers in the Northeast, and when I bought this was back in 2016. So I went out. They might have been the closest dealer. It's a 14-hour drive. Sean's one of my buddies. I like talking to him. I have a good time whenever I'm around him, and I support them. And they when I bought my 2021, I called Sean again, and I got the boat behind me from him. So I bought 2 boats from them, and I don't have the dealer. Like JP's only like an hour or whatever, from hour or 2 away, where I go. If I need dealer support, I am driving very far, which luckily, like with Phoenix, they'll send, if you need something, they got parts shipping overnight to your house. They've been, and there was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah. The price of the boat, like JP said, that doesn't even really matter, because also the most expensive thing in there is what gets burned through that mercury every day.
The gas.
Listen to this. I spend about $15,000 on gasoline.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
I'm serious. Yes, I track all my my expenses, and that boat will cost me $10,000 a year to own, and it will cost me $15,000 just to run gasoline through it. That is by far the
unbelievable.
So you can
wait. Does that include your truck gas or just your boat gas?
Just the boat, yes.
How much truck gas did you use competing last year?
I burned 31,000 miles on my truck at 10 miles to the gallon. So that would be
3,000 miles at least.
Is that
100?
Hold on, 3,000 gallons?
Yeah.
About $10,000 probably in the truck.
Whoa. And then how much in the boat? 15? That's 25 grand in gas. Holy crap.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy.
About $100 a day. On average, $100 a day for like 150 days on the water. 120.
Wow.
I want to know in the comments how much everybody's enjoying this episode of Smallmouth Crush tonight. We've really been talking about fishing the whole time. We haven't gotten sidetracked. Not that getting sidetracked is a bad thing, right? It brings charisma to the channel, but I see fishing. The whole comments has been nothing but fishing the whole night. People must be loving this.
People come for the crazy too. Just don't forget that, man. He adds a fifth dimension to the show that nobody else can but him. Right? Nobody else but him can. So it's good. It's good. I like it. I've been enjoying it.
Don't stop worrying about the price of the boat. Get the boat you want. You live once, and worry about gas is where it's going to be. If you're a fisherman a lot, I think, how much do you think I was burning 60 something gallons of gas every day of the Toyota series on the St. Lawrence River this year. And I'm filling up on the water. So let's just call it like a $4. So I'm burning $250 a day in fuel.
Wow.
So $750 in fuel for just 3 days plus my practice, which I probably another, 100 gallons of gas in practice. So that's like, when you go to the St. Lawrence River and fish that Messina Toyota, you've got to look at probably a $1,500 gas bill for that week.
God, that's unreal. Wow.
So you got a $1,500 gas bill. You got a $2,000 entry fee. You were lucky enough that Travis let you stay at his house for a few days of the practice, but you had to, and then you drove home. So you're lucky because you got to drive home at night, right? So,
Yeah,
but
I
if
would.
you're a
Right.
guy traveling in from out of town, you got another $1,200 in expenses for a place to stay. If you don't win the tournament, you lost money. I don't care what anybody says. Second place ain't even covering it.
So basically, bass fishing tournaments is not a money-making adventure
No
unless
way.
you're winning, right? We do it for the love, we do it for the passion, we do it for the grind, right? Is that what gets you back to tournament bass fishing every year, Brett?
It's not. You don't have to win to make money, but you have to be in like the top 13. So,
Top 13.
if
I'll be
you're
right
not
back.
top
I'll be right
13,
back.
you
Keep
lose
talking. I
money.
can hear you. Okay.
But yeah,
13th made enough to get a double cheeseburger from the local McDonald's before he gets back on Route 81. Let's not cut the fat here. Let's be realistic.
yeah. The tournament. I think. What did I do? I think I came in 12th this year on the St. Lawrence River, so I actually might have made made $5 in that tournament after my gas bill. Take a week off unpaid at your job, and then spend $1,700 in entry fee, $1,500 in gas. Spend $3,500 to win $3,700. That's pretty much what happens.
Did you hear me laughing in the background?
When you win, it's a glory for eternal glory if you win. So
very true, man. We do
money.
it because you know what? You're not even factoring in the cost of the boat, the insurance that it takes, the maintenance of the boat. We're all absolute nuts for pursuing this thing called bass fishing. It gets in your blood. Why does it get in your blood so bad? What is it about it, man?
Plus, I lost probably
keeps me sober.
40 sniper jigs at $5 a piece. So there's
now he's really breaking it down.
Yeah, Brett, if you actually went down and one of the most hilarious smallmouth crush videos is when Jimmy and Travis went through the cost of being a professional angler. I was dying laughing because Jimmy is just a nut. Some people were asking about Jimmy big time today. I FaceTime with him. He was working on a bathroom project. So, but man, that was hilarious. Hilarious, man. Hilarious. I think you'd start to get a little goofy because, Brett, what you weren't even factoring in, you took a week off of work, so you burnt your vacation. Luckily, you got paid for that week because you're a paid employee, but you got to factor that in too. Like let's pretend you run your own business and you're an independent contractor and you're in tile work or bricklaying or whatever, right? You're not working that week, so you ain't making no money. You got to factor that in too, right, Big JP?
Yeah, let's look at just fishing the ABA. I had a conversation with Gino this weekend. Gino telling me, "Oh, I'm going to buy another Garmin for my boat, and I'm buying the best one. They got this new 16-inch 9000 series. I looked it up. The graph itself is like $7,000, right? I go, dude, you've got live scope and you've got active target. Why don't you just learn how to use your active target? That thing sucks." So I'm telling him, right? I'm like, dude, it really doesn't suck that bad. Once I started using the active target, I kind of actually like it. It's got some benefits for target separation on the bottom, this, that, and the other thing. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm buying this $7,000 screen and another LVS 34 for $1,799. Nobody can have a competitive edge on me. And I go, you fish the ABAs, bud. You're not even going to be able to pay at the end of the season. You are at such a disadvantage for making that purchase. That is a stupid investment to make. And then lo and behold, he goes and talks to Double Deuce here, Brett Carnwright, about it. And
Double
at the end of the
Deuce, I've
conversation,
never heard that. Go ahead.
Brett, oh yeah, that's why I picked number 22. I call Brett Double Deuce because he's always weighing in 22-pound bags. But
dude, I like it. I didn't know that. That's very cool, man. Thank you for the inside info. Yeah.
So, but the Deuce told Gino the same thing. If you got active target, it's not bad. Maybe you should put some time in this. And then Gino, of course, this is what he always does. I give him advice. He tells me I'm wrong. No, nothing I say is right. And then Jody or Brett says that it's the right thing. And then he's like, "Oh, I know you said it, but those guys said it, so I'm going to do this now." Oh yeah.
I primarily use active target. I have Garmin also on the boat, but yeah, I'm an active target guy.
What? That's weird. Really? I mean, everybody that I talk to says Garmin's way better. Why do you think active target is your Why is active target your go-to?
Active
Talk to
target's
us.
not as good when you're fishing brush and when you're fishing when you want detail. Like the detail of a Garmin is better, but I don't need to see how many branches are in the brush pile. I just need to see if there's fish in there. And on active target, that the bass glow a little better, like at a distance, and like JP said,
Whoa.
target. So at the
Target separation. Target
like
separation. Okay.
On the very bottom of the lake, I feel like you can see a bass moving when it belly on bottom better with a Lowrance than you can with a Garmin. And I think when they're floating up high within 5 feet of the surface, like when you're catching them suspended, I feel like I can see them at 100 feet away. I can see a bass better on active target than I can on Garmin.
Okay, quick question for both of you. You guys run the Sea Clear harness right now?
No, I just have 10 gauge. I have independent 10 gauge runs for every single accessory on my boat. So I have like.
Did you run that, Brett, or did you ask him to rig it that way?
It was added when I got the boat. We rigged it at Weeda's Marine. We rigged that system. So I have.
You did that. You went down there. You went down there and did that.
Yeah, I went there for 2 days and rigged the boat with them. Like,
okay, got it. JP, what about you? Do you?
No, I gotta. My boat is a 6 gauge wire running independently to the console, and then a 6 gauge wire running independently to the bow, and then it goes to a breaker, a service board where then the 6 gauge goes to one side and the graphs go on to independent connections after that.
Okay, and Brett,
But I will tell you this, Eric. Last year on the St. Lawrence River early season Canada, I was over there hunting for some fish before my clients came up, and I was posted up on this ledge. And on the Garmin, I wasn't seeing anything, and on the Lowrance, I kept going, "What is wrong with this thing? What is wrong with the bottom?" Well, there was nothing wrong with the bottom. It was hundreds of smallmouth stuck to the bottom, and I was watching the whole bottom of the river was moving. And then when I cast it out there and my bait went down and I stroked it off the bottom once, they all came up, and I was like, man, I would have never saw that with the Garmin. And I love the Garmin, but
very interesting. Very interesting. So back to you, Brett. So why'd you pick 10 gauge when JP's running 6 gauge? Did you just feel like did you have the experience of running 6 gauge before? And then once you switched to 10 gauge, you're like, damn, I see the difference.
Yeah, I ran on my 2016 boat. I had a setup like JP has. I ran.
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm just going to step away and do something. Go ahead. Keep going.
I ran a 4 gauge wire. But I didn't really know this. I did all this work back in like 2017 or 18. So I was kind of experimenting. I didn't really understand the size of the wiring, and I was using AGM batteries, which is not good because I was thinking that I originally had like 10 gauge runs but I wasn't getting enough power. I felt like, but it was because my AGMs were junk and they weren't supplying enough voltage. They were just dying like super early in the day. You can't run 3 16-inch units on a single AGM. It'll last for 2 hours and then it'll die. So, well, in reality, it'll last for 2 hours while the voltage is high, and then the final 2 to 4 hours of your day you have low voltage, so the graph doesn't perform as good. But I ran like a 4 gauge wire to the bow, and I tapped 3 units off that, and then I had a 4 gauge wire to the console. And I had 2 units on that, and my image was great. I was running lithiums that by this time I had switched to lithium, and it was great. And then on this new boat, I decided that I wanted to do individual runs of 10 gauge where they're all fused and they're all back at the battery. So that way, if I had an issue with my, let's just say my 6 gauge harness to the front, I would still have if you lost, you'd lose all your graphs to the front. Like if something happened at 6 gauge, it's not probably going to happen. Like it's not a common thing, but it's just more of like a fail safe. Like, well, if something happens to my 10 gauge wire that goes to my Humminbird, I at least still have my Lowrance and my Garmin. So it's just isolating I'm just isolating each unit and each accessory, and then they all connect back at the battery. So I have like a harness that all ties in right by I have a breaker, so everything's tied into that breaker, and then I have like one big cable, like a 4-gauge wire that comes off the breaker into or onto the positive post of my battery. That's just the way that I rigged this boat. That we did it, and Weedas does that with all their boats. If you purchase the that add-on, if you're a guy that wants to do that and you're rigging a lot of stuff, they do a custom wire harness. It's really just about the wire. You got to have a premium wire,
Marine
like
wire.
like a marine wire. There's
Tin
nothing
copper.
about like specialty wire that you need to use. Like as long as you use a premium anchor wire that you can just order off Amazon, or Bass Fish Electronics sells it. You can order it in bulk spools. You can build these harnesses that they're selling for a lot of money. That it's a lot of it's sales tactics, but in reality, it's power flowing through wire, and you just need to make sure that you're sized correctly.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking about taking the Humminbird right off my boat this year.
Yeah.
What?
I'm thinking about doing away with the 360. I don't know.
Really? Why?
I really don't think I need it anymore. I think that for what I'm doing, I could do just as good without it.
Yeah, but I bet if you go to Oneida, you'd probably want it. If you fish any stuff tournaments there, you're gonna probably want it. But
yeah,
well, he's not fishing tournaments anymore, hardly, right? I mean, JP, you're almost exclusively focused on fun fishing and guiding, right? And I mean, for you on the St. Lawrence and guiding people, you love the big long drift, right? So
right.
you're good. I mean, why carry all that extra weight on your trolling motor? First of all, right? Second of all, it costs you more if you're going to put a 360 on. And if you're not really going to go to derbies, and it sounds like you're so dialed in on that active target, you could probably still be competitive without it, right?
All right. I mean, yeah, the big thing is just like if I'm going to jump in a tournament, and now it's just going to be a smaller one that's fun to get in, and of course I want to be competitive, but I just, if I have to get a new rig, it won't have a Humminbird on it. I've already made that decision. I'm not going to take it off of my Ranger. If I get it back in time, I'll leave it on because I already purchased it and it's there. And
okay,
right?
Gotcha. Sure.
Whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, when I get into a new rig, it will not have a Humminbird on it. I just don't think I need it anymore. I don't think I'm the juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore with everything else you got hanging off the front.
Bro, I feel you, man. I feel you. I mean, I caught my biggest bass with no electronics on the boat at all. It literally was a tin bass tracker with 0 electronics. A trolling motor, and that's it. Didn't even have lift assist.
I caught my biggest largemouth bass I caught out of the James River down in Osborne.
Get out, really?
On a watermelon red brush hog junior that I flipped in 14 feet of water on one of the barge docks, and I thought it was a catfish because I hooked it, and I had these giant head shakes, and I pull it up, and it had the big frog eyes sticking out of the top of its head.
How big was it?
Practice.
How big was it?
8-pounder. It was
I
an 8-pounder.
love it. So that's your PB largemouth on the James River flipping an old Zoom baby brush hog. Unbelievable.
And I caught another 8-pounder in Douglas Lake, long lining a what the hell was that crankbait called?
Long lining, man. You're going old school. I love it, man. Wow.
Dude,
the Hot Lips somewhere.
It
the
was
Hot Lips Express. The Hot Lips Express. The old Timber Tiger, bro, lifestyle. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about.
This is not the color, but it was a white with a black back. But it was the Hot
So what were you?
Express.
What were you? So you made you made a cast. You trolled somewhere,
Tell
right?
you what I did.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk to us. Take us through the story of your second PB. Go ahead.
Open that up. That's probably like a $500 bait right now.
No, it's not. It's not. They're still available. You can find them on
I changed these out to triple grips right away.
Right.
And then on the swivel,
Yep.
I put an old tier style drop shot weight. So that it would get down faster.
How heavy?
Yeah. I love it.
It was 3/8 of an ounce I put on there, which made this thing get down. Because dude, this thing's got a giant bill on it, so it's cranking, right? But that bait, that weight would help this thing get down faster and dig deeper. And we were long lining, me and my dad in practice, and all of a sudden my rod loaded up and it didn't move. And I'm like, man, I must be stuck on a stump or something. I had one of them 7'11" KVD composite rods, right? And I'm like,
I love it.
I gotta be stuck on a log or something. And all of a sudden it pulled back and I go, oh no, I got a fish, dude. And it was an 8-pounder on one of these babies. And I got a bunch of these. These were pretty good.
Now, what's interesting to me is your two best personal bass did not come on live scope. One came on a crankbait and one came on a flipping bait. Now, I just want nobody say a word. Nobody say a word. My PB, largemouth, came on a boat with no electronics in an old school Bagley spin-tail minnow. Nobody say a word. Now, Brett, I'm afraid to interview you because you might bust up this beautiful moment that I have. I just want you all to contemplate what just happened here.
No, my biggest largemouth ever. I caught it on the Harris Chain of Lakes on a chatterbait, no electronics on the front. I was fishing with my buddy Captain Mick. He has he had probably one 9-inch unit on the console. He has like a center console boat.
All right. This is a beautiful. This is the center console boat with one 9-inch unit, chatterbait. Now I want this stream to go silent, and then I'm gonna read something to everybody. But this is a moment that deserves to go down in silence. It's just fucking amazing. I have chills right now.
Smallmouth story.
If it involves live scope, no, because I just want to. OMG, my biggest largemouth. Go ahead, tell us, man.
My smallmouth one. There was live scope on my boat, but I was idling like a rock pile off the side of Galoo Island. Not even really a big pile, like a small deal, like probably the basketball size rocks, like 2 or 3 of them in 42 foot maybe. It was pretty deep. And I idled over them, and I saw 3 of them on down scan. Like I'll use down scan deal when you're idling,
sure.
2D works good, but down scan isolates a lot better. That's why a lot of the guys like that fish.
Come on, go. Keep the flow going, man. We're celebrating the natural and Anthony guys.
I caught it electronic, I guess, but I saw 3, so I hopped up on the front deck and just pitched my drop shot off back by the motor.
Yeah.
The bottom, and I catch it. It's a 672. I haven't beat that yet. That's my PB smallmouth. And then my next drop, I just unhooked it and I put it in the live well. I flipped my bail off the back deck and dropped it and caught a 6-pounder. So there was 3 of them down there, 672, a 6.02, so just over 6. And I had a double picture with them. This was in 2021. So I caught it off, I saw him on down scan, but it wasn't on live scope. So I've had live scope ever since, and I haven't caught one.
Isn't that
7 pounds?
So we're gonna remain in silence. My PB smallmouth came non-scope. You guys know the story when I busted that 3196 bag, which was really 34 pounds solo. Moment of silence. All right, now I'm going to read this to everybody. You ready? All right. But I hope I get through this smooth. JP, I almost wish you could read this. I will send this to you so you can read it on another stream at the right moment. But this is the right moment to read this. All right, here it is. Men will go fishing all their lives without knowing that it's not the fish they're after. It's something much more profound. The peace of mind, the solace of the soul, the yearn for the simple rhythm of existence. Unbeknownst to them, the fish are nothing but a pretext, the reason to seek the divine in the ordinary. So they fish not for the fish, but for the experience, the journey inward that each cast of the line represents. That's what they're after. Man, and when I tell you this, it speaks to me. Like, it just speaks to me. And the reason it does is because that's what the magic of fishing is, man. For me personally. Like, Brett, if I was to come up and see you, I mean, I don't care how you take us fishing, but I want to experience a day on the water with Brett Carnwright. The day that I experienced the first time I ever went on a boat with JP and Gino, the operator, we were, I guess it was Oneida.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just happened to come together. And so the experience of meeting them in person, the experience of hugging those two dudes, the experience of stepping on his brand new Ranger, the experience of going through the shallows and using my eyes. And we were sight fishing. I don't care. And it didn't matter to me whether I caught a fish or not. And I finally did. And it was amazing. It didn't matter how big it was. It was the experience of sharing that boat with two dudes that I really like. And the same would go for you, Brett. I mean, all the conversations we've had about life, about fishing, that's what it's about. I mean, it's the experience, man. The fishing is just something other. And so that's why I like fishing naturally, if I can say it, you know, because to me, it just keeps me connected with the water, everything around me, man. That's just the magic for me, man. I love it, man. Wow. That was a moment, dude. That blew me away. Your 2 8-pound fish and what they came on and how you caught them. Brett's largest largemouth at the Harris chain. My biggest fish, 0-0 in a tin boat. Come on, man. That's awesome. I mean, I'm not saying it's not awesome if you catch them another way. But look, dude, it just really spoke to me, man. Thank you for letting me read that, everybody. I don't know. Cool. And Drew, you've heard that before for sure. I got that off of Instagram, to be fair. This guy like set it to some music, and it was just the front of a boat that was idling, and it just was this beautiful scene. And the guy read it with some music, man. And I'm just like, it stopped me in my tracks. It like made me go and just think. And I wrote it down. I like played it back over and over so I could write those words down. Wow. And the fact that you caught both of your PBs with your dad.
Yeah.
Right? Douglas
Both
Lake, both
Yeah.
8-pounders with your father. Now contemplate that. Crazy. Crazy. And 12-pound Tom Nee winning on the Upper Bay, the Ike Foundation tournament with his dad on Father's Day. Come on, man. No scope, just reeling that swim jig and just being in contact with it, man. That's a magical win right there. Anyway, no matter how you win, it's magical. But anyway, when you're really connected with stuff like that and it's with somebody you care, that's what I'm after, man, in life right now. Anyway, there you go, man. Drew, you saved it on your IG. So did I. Yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Damn, Anthony. Anthony says with a split shot rig, red worm along the bank. That's what it's all about. Oh, hell yeah. It is, man. Max 813 says we need an epic Eric Pobin moment on each episode. I've waxed philosophic on this stream many a night, haven't I? and I've gone on some angry rants too, for sure. Charles Redding said, hey, Charles Redding said, just discovered your channel when you guys renovated JP's tackle room. Great stuff. That was a great episode too, man. Oh, wow. Drew Santiago says, my wife and I cut our PBs together. So it was a great moment for him, man. That moment. That's awesome, man. Steve Hardy says, man, I love the wild places that these critters live in as much as I do love the fish. I mean, there it is, man. Yeah, John Picks. Fishing alone is a medication that stops the constant stress and anxiety, even just for a couple hours. John, I identify with that, man. 9/11, you know what I did? I walked out of my house. My daughter was young. I put her in my backpack, man, and I walked around a pond and I went fishing. That it heals, man. It heals the soul. JP, you know all about it, brother. You know all about it. Man, yeah, that was awesome, dude. I mean, look, if you guys want to keep rolling, let's keep rolling. But man, I mean, that's a cool note to end on, but we can keep talking. What do you guys think in the comments? Should we keep rolling? Do another giveaway? Talk about some crazy stuff? I got more stuff to give away. You guys want to do another giveaway?
I'll tell you this, when I was a kid, right, growing up, I'm like, say I'm 15 years old, right, or something, or 13 years old, just probably early in my years of fishing. And it was like, oh, I gotta, like, it would be terrible weather. My dad would be like, why you want to go fishing all this crap? Like, it's freaking 30 degrees out. And it was just like, man, I just gotta go. Like, I have like cabin fever. I gotta fish like every day or every other day. If I don't fish
Oh,
like
yeah.
days, I'm like, dude, I gotta get on the lake. And this is like before you even talk. I didn't even know anybody that fished except for my cousin. And it was just like, man, why? Like, but in reality, like looking back, it was just like I was finding so much peace in it, and it gave me like it was like an addiction, but it like was a curing. It was like it was more like for like mental clarity, like keep my mind right. Like a lot of people say, I guess it might have been like parts of anxiety that I have, that it was just like, oh, I'm not really an anxious person now, but like back then it was like, man, it's not about like going out there and being like, oh, I caught 30 bass today. It's like, I just got to be on the water. Like I'm comfortable out there. Like I just need to, it like calm my soul. And it was that naturally, it wasn't like I found it or heard anybody else talk about it. I like learned it naturally, but didn't understand what it was until I was probably in my 20s, where I was like looking back and I'm like, man, 10 years ago when I was always just like doing stupid stuff to go fishing. Oh, it's blowing 30 miles an hour, but I still want to go. It wasn't about like me going out there to like catch bass or whatever. It's just like, I want to get better. I'm having fun at this. And it's just, I think that we all have that. Like,
Heck yeah, man.
Brett, back before you were born, my mother worked nights, and she waited on tables at the Desmond, which was a really popular restaurant in downtown Albany, where all the musicians and actors would go when they were in town and whatnot. And during the day, she would take me to the ponds, because my father always worked, right? And we had the camp up at Saratoga Lake, would be there on the weekends and have the boat. But during the week, she'd take me pond hopping, and she'd sit there and read a book while I just pounded these ponds all day long before she had to go to work. And then I can remember getting old enough that I could ride the bike away from the house by myself. And I had the old GT mountain bike with the luggage rack on the back that I'd bungee cord the tackle box to. And I had the 2-piece spinning rod that I Velcro strapped to the frame. And I would leave in the morning and I wouldn't come back until dark, And then I remember my father started letting me, like, I got my license, right? My father let me take his boat. And that was like a huge deal because he would never let me take the boat. And then I was like, man, I got to get my own boat. And then I bought my first boat, man. And it was like, I don't want to do anything but fish, work, fish, work, fish, work, fish, 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 fish. When I asked my wife to marry me, I had the real ring in my pocket, and I had a fake engagement ring I bought that I tied to a spinning rod. And I told her to take a picture of the sunset. And she turned around to take a picture of the sunset, and I casted the fake ring out. And when she got done taking the picture, I said, here, reel this in. And she reeled it in, and she's looking at the fake ring on the end of the rod. And then when she looked over, I was on my knee on the front deck of my boat. And that's how I asked my wife to marry me.
That's awesome, dude. That's amazing. That's very cool. That's very cool. Well, I tell my wife she's my mermaid, man. Because she's been in my life since I've been a paperboy, bro. So she saw the rod, the reel, and the tackle box. One rod, one tackle box. It was a Bass Boss. I still got one back there. And dude, my little baits, man, just that's all I needed, man, to go have just the best time in the world. That's when life was simpler, bro, right? What did it cost me, man? That was no gas. That was pedal power right there, right? Came from my body fuel, right? One rod, one reel, some line occasionally, man. When it got kinked up, I'm good. I'm good, man. A shyster spinner, slow rolling it at the front lake, man. That white and black with a little feather on the back, dude. Slow roll it was cold in the spring. Got him. Meps number 0. I caught 15 or 16 bass with a Meps number 0 in a cold front. And they were in this little ditch depression. And I figured out it was just a little deeper because I counted down my worm. No depth finder. Just this. Right there. And slow rolling that Meps on 6-pound test on my ultralight, man. I caught bass up to like 3 or 4 pounds, man. It was awesome. That was awesome, dude.
My favorite pond bait was the Arky Crawlin' Grub. It was a pre-rigged jig with the double tails, and it had the rubber skirt on the top, and then all the little appendage legs going down the side. And you'd get one pre-rigged, and then you'd get an extra one in the pack. Yeah.
What was your favorite old school? Because wait a minute, JP, how old are you?
I'm 41.
41. Brett, how old are you?
31.
So, and I'm 62. I've been on the planet 21 years longer than you and 31 years longer than you, Brett. I've lived twice your life. That's crazy.
That's 2 times older.
What's your first bass bait, Brett Carnwright, that you remember getting and catching a bass on?
Oh, I caught my first bass ever on it was a brand called Rattlesnake Lures.
Yeah.
They were like,
and what was it?
A brown package. You could get them at Kmart.
And what was it? What was it?
Worm. Like, it was probably a 4-inch body with a long curly tail. So it was probably like a 6-inch worm, 3 to 4 inch dark brown body with a neon yellow curly tail.
Oh, that's awesome.
You probably have some, Eric. But so long, but it kind of looked like a Zoom old monster, but it was much smaller. And I had it rigged on what would be like a live bait hook, probably. Threaded. It was threaded.
Okay.
And it probably, like, if I had to guess, it was just like a hook like yay big, kind of a small hook. It was like one of those bait holder hooks that you'd put like a night crawler on, probably. And then I think I might have split shot on the front of it, or maybe like an 1/8 or 1/4 ounce bullet weight. And I was dragging it along a dock, like this dock where I grew up. A metal dock. It wasn't mine. It was like one of the people that lived down by the lake. They had it and they let us fish off from it. And I was dragging along the side of the dock, and I caught probably like a 14-incher. Is probably how big it was. And I think it was probably spawning on like the wheel of the metal dock, and I caught it.
Yeah.
And I dragged it up on the shore, and that was the first smallmouth I caught. And I went back to Kmart and bought like 6 more packs of those worms, and I probably never pass on them again.
That's awesome. All right, so
that I ever caught.
All right, so I'm asking people, what was their first fish caught on? Scott Sims, rooster tail. Jay Hayes, tomato culprit. Swim School, Bagley B2 in that brown crawl. Oh, heck yeah. Brian Wisniewski, moccasin culprit. That thing was dynamite. Beetle spin. Oh, hell yeah. Scott, that was from Beetle spin was from let's see, Scott Sims. Scott, he's a Little George. Here we go. Brian again. Black grape gator tail worm. Heck yeah, man. JP Harrell. First bass was on a night crawler or bobber. LOL. Here you go. John Tix. Booyah 3-blade pond spinnerbait. Killer. Riley Brody. Night crawler. He says he imagines it was a nice crawler. He was only 3. Let's see. Mep spinner. Heck yeah, man. Oh, these are rolling in, dude. Look at these things, man. 5 pounds. He caught it on a jitterbug. That's Lee when he was like,
how many people are watching right now?
Dude, we got 179. We were up to like 204, 1.210 maybe. Charles Redding, man's jellyworm. He's 60. His father fished the first Ray Scott Invitational in 1968. Matthew, Nightcrawler. First lure, Rooster Tail or Big O. Rooster Tail. Meps, Lucky 13. Red Devil Spoon, Beetle Spin. Dude, they're rolling in. Black Spinnerbait. Hank Parker, Roadrunner. Snagless Sally. Heck yeah, who remembers the Meps number 3 Black Fury? What?
I caught a lot of bass on a Meps, the Fire Tiger number 5, like Fire Tiger blade with squirrel tail on the back and the treble.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, dude, for sure.
Gold, just gold with no skirt on it.
No, so good, so good. Darius King rolls in with the Bomber Brushwhacker. Hula Popper for sure did some serious work. 2-inch floating Rapala. Zebco Bullet. You guys remember those? Some Slumpy Grumpy. Bronze Slammer. Storm Chugbug. Red Power Bait. Red Shad Power Tail. Hell yeah. There you go. Dave Zickus. Nightcrawler. Abu Reflex. Man, this is so good. I'm loving this. I don't know about you guys. Zebco 33. What's that?
What did you catch your first bass on?
That would have been.
Did you say it?
No, I'm thinking it was.
But that's only one.
Yeah, man, it was not John's farm pond. It would have been on a man's jellyworm. 6-inch grape straight. And at one point, I started putting a kink in it because I think I read that article in Bassmaster magazine. There was this little pond behind like our community where the first snakehead. The snakehead was caught in the big pond. We called that Clinton's Pond. And then next to it were 2 ponds that you had to jump a fence to get in and fish, but they were ultra clear. I remember throwing that jelly worm in there with a kink in it, man, with a little swivel on the front and just straight up reeling it. Straight up reeling it. Who's that guy, Matt, that does that? He's kind of connected with Fish the Moment. He highlighted like, yeah, Matt Stefan. He highlighted lures that guys use that they don't talk about. And one was the pre-packaged 3-hook worm.
The creme?
Yeah, the cream worm. Yeah.
No, not the cream worm. The pre-rigged. There's 2. I'll go get one. Hold on.
He pulls out some baits that are just I've never even seen before. So I'm sure that's the the creme one is like the most popular, but there's all these other ones too that. What about you, JP? What was your first bass ever caught on a chatterbait?
Oh man, no. Yeah, right. It was a 4-inch floating Rapala with the bottom of it with red nail polish, and it was Ballston Lake. And we would twitch the Rapalas, and the bass would come up and eat them off the top, like kind of like a spook. But you were twitching it, and it would dive down. You know,
like the crab.
Oh, dude, I had one of the best days ever at a pond, Duckett's Pond. I took a number 2 Rapala gold, and literally this was a great lesson for me on cadence, depth, speed, and cadence. Depth really didn't matter because the bass in the farm pond, it wasn't that deep, right? But speed and cadence, I only started to catch them because I burnt the lure back and a bass ate it. And I've been reading Bassmaster, and they talked about speed and cadence, right? And so then I got my speed down, and then this certain cadence, I started wrecking them. Like the number of twitches and how fast I did it, and then how fast I re-engaged after the lure would float back up. But this is the worm I was talking about. Who threw this style of worm? Look at that worm, dude. That's got pre-rigged like monofilament, and it's 3 hooks. And these things you put a swivel on and you cast it out, and literally you just reel it in. And I want to go up. It spins. I want to go up to Ticonderoga, and when the bass are getting ready for pre-spawn, JP, not on the rock or anything, but they're in the grass, or like they're getting ready to come into the bays, right? They're in the spawning bays. And I'm going to bring some crazy stuff to say and see, do old school lures still work? And we're just going to toss these around. Well, we're going to toss them around and see how good we do, right? We're probably going to lose a lot because those hooks ain't too stout. But I got some other models that have some stout hooks. I'm busting this shit out, man. I want to do some. Wouldn't that be cool to shoot a video like that? Like we're breaking out the old school stuff. See if we can go up there and throw some MEP spinners. Would that be fun? I mean, look, if it doesn't work, we'll go catch them. We'll go catch them the way I know you know how. But at least we got to break out and do some fun stuff, right? Wouldn't that be fun? I would. Like that. That's just me. I don't know.
How old were you, Eric, when you caught your first bass?
Man, I was probably. God, when did the jelly worm come out? What year was the jelly worm invented? Man's jelly worm. Does anybody know? I got to look at that. Man's jelly worm. Because I moved here to Crofton, Brett, when I was 4 years old in 1966. When was the man's jelly worm invented?
1956.
Wow, so I was one of the first ones fishing the jelly worm. At 60, I probably was.
Do you think you were old?
No, I was by myself riding my bike at that point. I remember my mom taking me to a trout pond before I was a paper boy. I got a picture of that one, holding up the trout. That was a magical moment for me. So I was probably 11 or 12. That's what I'm guessing. I'd gone rock fishing with my dad. Yeah, I was a paper boy. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was 9 when I caught my first one.
Yeah. And once that happened, it was over for me, man. Yep.
I think it took 5 days to catch one. I think I fished for 5 days. I'm not saying I fished all day. It might have been an hour each day. I don't know. I think I fished 5 days. Got my first fish.
Yeah, Bass Bum Inc. says, dude, we lost so many giant smallmouth on those 3-hook worms. These have the little tiny hooks in them. They're probably not too stout, and they're not going to hold up to a 6-pound smallie. But if you had like a medium light rod, maybe with the drag set right, you know, back in the day, man, you didn't have like 7.6 medium light graphite rods that, you know, bend through the rod handle. That might help. I don't know. But there's some other styles, Bass Bum, that have more stout hooks in them. But it would still be fun. Who cares if you lose them? I just want to see how much they bite them. Because right now, you could remake that bait, but you could put better hooks in it, right? You know, think about it. Small hooks have incredible holding power. Crazy. I went fishing.
Could you imagine if they redid the man's jelly worm, but they did it with the original Senko mixture of plastic?
Wow. That'd be pretty incredible, man. Oh, man. I think I got a pack of old ringworms over here. Check this out. I remember when the ringworm came out. Who remembers the ringworm? The original. Look at these packages. This is beautiful. God, look how gorgeous these colors are. Dudes, which was your favorite color? If I had to give you this, which one would you throw? Okay, here's the scene. Me and JP, we're in Ticonderoga. We're going to shoot an old school lure video, right? And so I splay out these Rebel ringworms on the front deck. Which one? I want everybody to guess which color JP is going to fix. I'm going to show them one at a time. You got the brown with the orange tail. Look, dude, that's an original Rebel ringworm, bro. Rebel ringworm. All right. We got the brown with the orange. We got the blue with the pink fire tail. We got the purple with the pink fire tail, right? That's it. Those are your 3 choices. What do you go with, bud? Come on. Make your selection. I know what I would picking.
Go. I would pick the yellow tail. The yellow tail.
This one. No. Sorry, this one.
Yes.
That's what I was picking too. Darn it.
Hey, do you remember the Producto worms?
Dude, in Florida, the first time.
Do you got any?
How many you want?
Black turtleback worms?
Dude,
you got the grape? Oh, man, bring them.
The black grape was the best. That was the softest for me. When I went to Florida to visit my Uncle Andy, I was a paper boy still. I used my paper route money to go down there. He took me to a tackle shop and he goes, this is the worm we're going to throw in this color. Black grape, the producer, 7-inch. I felt how soft that worm was. No salt, by the way. So that's a super high float worm, right? Stood up on his tail. Dude, I brought that back to Maryland. I smashed their ass on that worm, man. And I mean, it got a bigger than average bite. And I was using like the True Turn hook at that point.
And how about how they smell? Dude, those things smell delicious.
You guys got a minute? I'll dig out my Producto box. Hold on. This is going to be good, right? You got time, everybody? You want to see some Productos? Let's go.
We got time, but
all right. Just checking.
Eric's having a blast tonight, Brett.
I'm going down memory lane, man. This is the lure show, bro.
Anybody want to see some broken mega bass rods over here in the corner of my garage? I'll show you guys my trap setup. So I'm throwing a Lew's KVD 7'4". I think it's a medium heavy. I don't even know. It's a composite CC5 with, look at that reel. That is a Quantum. I think it's a Smoke. It's a Smoke S3. I really like throwing Quantum stuff on like baits that I bomb. Like, I mean, Van Dam like made these reels. So I kind of just like when he's cranking, I just buy his stuff for cranking. Not all of it. My small square bill stuff, I don't use that, but like all my deep cranking, like heavy dutier cranking stuff. I'm on that KVD rod train. I have like some of the original KVD rods too, like the original one that he came out with in like 2010.
Oh, I got all of them. Yeah, they're good.
One of
rods.
those up on the wall. I bought it off eBay for like $30, and I've never even used it, but I have it just for nostalgia. My biggest largemouth ever came on Champlain, or my biggest largemouth on Champlain ever came cranking a square bill KVD 1.5. I think I caught it in 2012. So that was when that 1.5 was like super hot. It like just came out the year or two before that. I think it was in 2012. I caught a 7-pound 0-ounce largemouth off a small little 1-cast rocky point. There was like just a strip of like rock coming off the bank. I catch that bass, 7 pounds, 0 ounces even. And it's my biggest one I've ever caught on Champlain. And then 1 year later, almost to the exact day, it was 3 or 4 days different. Ryan makes the same cast on the same place. I caught mine cranking a KVD 1.5. He hooks one on a KVD 1.5 on the same cast, gets it to the boat, 7 pounds, 4 ounces. And we look at the two pictures, and I'm pretty sure it's the same bass. Caught it again, but back-to-back years, I caught a 7.0, and the markings on it is identical. And he catches it almost 1 year later to the exact day on the same exact side of this rock point. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. That's the biggest largemouth he's ever caught on Champlain.
Mm.
And then it might have probably got caught by Brian LaBelle and never made it back. Later. I'm sure that bass is no longer with us. That was 14 years ago, maybe 13 years ago, I guess. I caught that bass. I would have thought I would have caught one bigger than that by now on Champlain. Like my PB largemouth I caught in 2016, I think. So it's been 8 or 9 years since then. And my smallmouth was in 2021. I've came close to beating the smallmouth a couple times, but I can't believe I haven't hooked a 7-pounder yet on the St. Lawrence or Ontario. I think I caught a 640. I caught a 640 last year on the river. And I think I caught a couple like just over 6 this year there. But have you caught a couple over 7, haven't you?
Yeah.
Travis told me at the show that they caught 26 fish over 7 pounds last year out of his boat.
Yeah, in the spring, yeah.
Well,
that early Canadian season's the time to really
but he was
pound the
catching
7s, you know.
Fall too. You caught a bunch of them, I think, that were like 7 in the fall. Oh, that early season deal, it's almost like kind of like you can't even count that for your PBs. I feel like it's a different time of year to be like, it's like the fish are, it's almost like you're fishing in a stock pond. It just seems so much different. You know, it's like, oh, I caught a 7-pounder in April on Ontario, but that fish in reality was probably like a 5 3/4.
Right.
You know, like body. I don't know. That's just the way that it's just like so it's like almost looked down upon or something, like when somebody's like, oh, I caught like a bunch of 6 and 7 pounders on, because they're like so common. It seems like everybody posts the scale and it's like 7-pounder every single day. It's almost like it's not even the same lake, you know.
Found him. I heard the whole story.
You were listening to that whole thing?
The whole thing.
What do you think about the largemouth deal? With I caught a 7-pounder, and then a year later, my cousin caught it almost on the exact same day, year later, and on the same.
Oh yeah, Eric, do me a favor, open that bag and just take a big sniff of them.
That grape smell, Brett. That's an incredible story.
What? I don't even know what that bait you have in your hand.
This is. I'll show you the package. Because I bought some in bulk.
That's the old school Sakamata shad.
No, this is an old school. I have one of the old school packages left, JP.
The little
But,
tiny Ziplocs that got like the gray, they're see-through, and then they got the yellow and black on them.
Yeah, that's the newer packaging, but the old packaging was yellow. It had yellow on it for sure.
Yeah.
But this is the Producto worm. This is my favorite. So let's just look at the worm. This is a laminate black blue, which might be good up there, bro. But you know, black grape's my favorite too. But this thing is like so limp, so soft, zero salt, super high float plastic. So when that worm's sitting on the bottom, the thing is just doing all sorts of crazy. It's probably like, I don't know, man. But it's not like a Z-Man consistency. It tears, but it was just something about that shape, that profile. But the black grape was the money color for me. I'll get a black grape out. Something about that black grape, man, that just when the light hit it, dude, it was magical to hold it up to the light.
That was my father. My father just called, Eric. He said that he'd be very grateful if he could get a handful of them Producto worms from you for this summer. And he wanted you to know that his biggest largemouth was 7 pounds, 13 ounces out of Ballston Lake with 0 electronics.
I love it. What did he catch it on? That's what I want to know. What did he catch it on?
Oh, it was the floating Rapala.
No way. For real?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? That's even better. Yeah, that's awesome. Isn't that crazy? And I mean, how many times has he fished with you? You got like the most modern day electronics available. You're really good at them. And his PB came without it. Isn't that cool? Weird, man. What does that say to us? I don't know. What does that say to us? Something. Is there a message in that somewhere? What do you guys think? Is there a message for the Bassin audience tonight? Maybe so. Maybe not. Who cares? Let's just show the black grape.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could get the light because this is a translucent color. Like when I hold it up, I see purple. So that's black grape. I wish I could backlight this thing. Hold on. Let me try this. Give me a second. Let's try it. All right. Ready?
Oh,
yeah. Can you see the light passing through that? There it is. Look at that. Somebody's taking look at that Susky Smalley sticker I got on the back too. I'm just gonna pass that beautiful black grape. Just look at it. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? You just knew you were gonna catch
it brings back memories, dude. That brings back the 1988. Dude. My father had an 88 Ranger, and they used to have storage underneath the seats. You could lift the seat up, and there was storage under the seats, and that's where he kept all them Producto worms. It was right under the driver's seat. In that thing.
Come on, man, for real?
Yeah.
God, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. I'm going down memory lane like this with an old school lead sinker unpainted, dude. This was for the painted lead sinkers, man. And just freaking walking the bank and freaking throwing it towards a piece of cover, man. Just letting that thing shaking that slack, and all of a sudden it's like dong, or your line would just start to walk off. But is there anything better? I don't know, man. Not for me. Let me see if I got any other Producto models in there, because they had some other sneaky little baits, man. They got a fry too. Did you know that, JP?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they had a ringworm. I'll show you the little straight tail ringworm. How about that? This is a little juicy item. Check out that little black chartreuse. That's a river rat killer right there. You get in trouble. If anybody gets in trouble on the Potomac River, Chickahominy, James River, look at that. Look how JP. Look how soft that plastic is,
man.
Dude, throw that around on an 1/8 ounce behind Brett Carnwright, who just rolled through with a big jig. I'm gonna catch every fish behind him, dude. In the summertime, I'm gonna tell you right now. In the summertime, either a curly tail or a straight tail ringworm, 4-inch, that size, will save your ass. And if you throw it on a jig head, watch out. Watch out. Like this little that little jig head right there from BKK. Let me rig it up. I just got to rig it up.
Eric, you see
like
this?
Like I would go behind guys that were flipping. Yes, that's a good bait. But I wish the bill was. I wish that I don't know. It's some custom square bill.
You gave this to me.
Let me see. Let me look. Turn it sideways. I think it's a Marty Burns, bro.
You gave this to me.
I don't know. I did give you a balsa bait, but you didn't hold it up. You don't like balsa baits. Look, JP.
Oh yeah.
Don't even tell me sliding around Ticonderoga in the grass. If there's 25 boats in there, you're throwing your 7-inch. We're in a team tournament. You're catching the bigs on the holes you drilled in the grass, but you're counting on me for one more big. I'm bringing it because there's 25 boats. The bite is shut down. I'm flipping the 4-inch ringworm. Oh yeah, it's coming in the boat. I'm telling you right now, it's happening. I'm doing it for you. I'm putting that last kicker in the wild. I'm telling you right now, I know I'll get bit. I know I'll get bit. You can put 50 boats in there. I'm getting bit.
You don't even know what 25 boats on a piece of grass in Ticonderoga. You guys would be rub rail to rub rail. There's no grass.
Oh, we would?
Huh?
Dude, you don't understand. I've
There's
been
no grass.
Listen. All right, whatever, man. When there was grass there, stop raining on my story. Brett, what don't even rain on my story. I'm telling a story. So, Brett, listen, there was a place called Brian's Cove on the Potomac. If anybody's still watching that fished the Potomac, it was a PA Federation Skeeter Owners Club tournament.
What creek is it in?
Not a creek. It's a bay off the main river, mid-river. Brian's Cove.
North or south? Mattawoman.
North.
Okay.
Brian's Cove, right-hand side, Maryland side. Anyway, it used to be a incredible spawning cove. Gravel. It had a point that the fish would pre-spawn on. It might have been grass on the flats coming in, but that particular cove had a lot of wood, a lot of gravel, and a lot of milfoil, and it was beautiful. But it would load up with boats, like load up during the spawn. This in particular during the spawn. So I'm dragging. The first time I was ever in it, I'm dragging a ringworm. I'm with Glenn Peacock, and literally. There are boats everywhere. You can't go very far. And I'm talking 10, 15 yards. You're knocking into another guy's boat. That's how good this cove could be. You would never see them because the water never got clear enough for you actually to see a bass on a bed. It was very rare in tidal situations to see clearly enough to see bedding fish. So it was not a sight fishing deal. So he was moving around in between these people, right? And I'm like, damn, I'm getting tired of this guy because I knew they were, on beds or close to being bedding. And I just let my ringworm go as he pushed the trolling motor button, and my ringworm would do this. It would lift off the bottom and fall back down, lift off the bottom and fall back down. I would just shake slack. Dude, I think I caught every fish. He didn't catch one. He turned around to me and he says, what are you doing? I said, absolutely nothing but dead sticking. I'm just letting you with the trolling motor, as you continue to move too fast, I'm just letting the worm do its thing. People would come over to us. He'd move away. I'd keep the worm in the water. If I wasn't unhooking a bass, I was driving the whole bay crazy. The second time I was in there, I was in a Skeeter Owners Club tournament. I was split shotting a fish doctor. Same situation. Wrecked the fish. Outfished the entire crowd in the bay. Finesse, baby. 4-inch. Don't sleep on it. Right there. But I like that BKK hood. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, it looks.
I would slide around.
Good.
That would slide around the past grass in Ticonderoga.
Head hook.
Yes. They made a better slider. They made a better slider.
Can you show me?
Say it again. Yeah, sure. You were breaking up.
Wow.
Right there.
Huh? Did you bend that at all? Doc.
I bent it up a little bit because this was the terrible size hook to try to catch fish in on the St. Lawrence of Travis in the 1 claw craw challenge. So we were trying to get that little hook through the big bodied, Nico Bates plastic, which is impossible.
Yeah.
So I told Travis, bend your hook out, and I had to do the same to catch him because we were doing the test. But this is really built for a worm, so pairs nicely with that. Anyway, that's the story. There's your ringworms. My -1, baby.
I bought
sent you
on an auction from you.
You did. There it is, man.
And you
OG -1.
Some DT8s with it. I think I paid $70 for this and like 4 or 5 DT8s, but all I wanted was really this.
You only wanted that? You should have told me.
It's only, you had it in the and it was all one bundle and I bid on it, but this is just specifically only for the Potomac River.
That's right. That's
so
right.
It's box. I've never thrown it. I did go to the Potomac with it this year, but I just didn't crank anything. I was just locked frog in my hand. But
dude, I don't know why you weren't throwing the. Did you ever have a high tide when you were in the bay that you were frogging?
High tide was. How was the tide? High tide was first thing in the morning in that tournament.
And were you getting bit? Were you getting bit right away on a frog?
Yeah, I had some spots in the grass where it was topped out on a high tide, and I was
perfect. Yeah, those are the deeper mats, better bites.
I only had 2 stretches that they would bite on a high tide.
Yeah,
which is,
right.
And then got lower, it got even better. But I could get bit on a high tide 2 places. That was it.
Nice.
You guys got me for about 3 more minutes because I got my morning meeting with Anthony Geis at 5 a.m.
All right, no, we're gonna wrap it up, man, because we've been rolling way longer than I said we were gonna roll. This has been an awesome stream. I love the old stories. Got to show some old baits. Carnwright dug into his crankbait box. Amazing. Showed a top bait for frickin' Champlain. Look at that frickin' crankbait box. It's super organized. It's ready to go for the 2025 season. JP, you came with the heat. This was awesome, guys. Thank you. I think we did Travis right tonight, even though he's still traveling. We thought he'd come in. He didn't, but that's all right, man. We held our own. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks for liking and sharing. I saw some new names tonight, man. That was awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And Jay Hayes, Cliff makes a great bait, but I'm partial to Marty Burns. They're hard to get, and some other handmade makers. So, but it's fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And what else you guys got? Anything you want to say before we close it out?
I just want to say, everybody, have a great week. See you guys next week. And I better see some of you jabronis right down there at Thayer's Marine Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Open house starts. It's going to be a great time. Brett, drive safe down south. If you need someone to talk to, give me a call. Eric, I'll call you in the morning.
You got it, man. Thanks, JP, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And hold on. We're going to sign out all together, bro. You got it. You got 1 second.
All right.
I'm just typing in. Thanks, everyone, for the comments, man, and sharing your stories about your first fish and whatever baits you used to catch them. That was awesome. Thank you for letting me wax a little poetic. And Brett Carnwright, you got anything you want to close out the show with?
Unboxing.
We'll do that. Save that for next week, bro. We can't give them all the juice at once.
I'm going to be on Okeechobee next Monday.
Oh, damn.
Official practice for the 2025 season.
Wow, dude. That's pretty amazing, man. Are you going to try to tune in from Okeechobee for a minute? Or are you going to be too occupied?
Maybe. Hold on. Let's just see if they're all the same thing. I don't know.
All right. Let's see. This will be a quick unboxing. Thank you, everybody.
Let's see. Oh, you guys are going to love this unboxing.
What is it?
Okay.
Yeah, we've all gotten a few of those.
And there is legitimately, this is the fastest unboxing. So there's 2 line items on this order. One of them is a shirt, quantity 30.
Sakamata shats.
Quantity 30.
That's a great way to close it out. You know what Brett Carnwright's throwing. All right, until next time, everybody. We'll
see you guys where, Eric?
On the water. Tight line, TK. Bring it home, man. Peace.
JP's out.